try and tour it afterwards, and it's like a growing body of work.
Yeah. That's amazing.
How long is it to be up there for? It's up until the 10th of October. Oh my gosh! Wait, like free life forever?
No, until I start my PhD next year.
I want to kind of expand it unions and this is like 2 years really. It has been. It's like a new work.
Yeah, I think that is important as well. I guess there are some, like Sharon Graham at Unite has been quite popular. I guess like the RMT, the police, a lot of them there. But, yeah, like Sharon Graham at Unite.
Some of the unions.
We had someone from the RMT who had quite a lot of Kaba one.
Oh, she's talking. I've also got women in it from the freedom movement and the anti-vax. Yeah. Because,
it's passionate women, isn't it? Women at the forefront of quite a lot of things these days,
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Good morning all. My name is Wendell Daniel and welcome to StreetMic, and we're coming to you live and direct from outside of New Scotland Yard, where a Justice for Chris Kaba protest is just about to begin. So a Justice for Chris Kaba protest is just about to begin.
Yeah, if you want to just put mics on so you could get good audio, then that's fine. Yeah, I promise. Yeah, no problem. Okay. I'm just thinking how man them are going to react to it.
Speaking,
yeah.
All of the main
explained that it's going to be longer.
leaders
Yeah. I'm just thinking.
Medina just speaking. And then
See this guy here, black guy here, he's a specialist security guy, yeah? He's there for you and the family.
So I'll move that. So let's do a couple of quick interviews with... So if you stay there, my darling. So good afternoon, my darling. How are you feeling today? No, don't touch my microphone. What are you dealing with? How are you feeling?
Well, I'm angry. I think, like most people, I'm disappointed that, 2 years on from BLM, we're still here. I'm angry that I'm looking at you, by the way, in the last year, we've had 3 black men killed after contact with the police or by the police. And I'm angry that no matter how many times we stand on the street and say Black Lives Matter, they don't seem to hear us.
But why do you think that is, that they, over there, New Scotland Yard, they don't seem to hear the voice?
I think they hear us. I think they don't care, and I think they've got no intention of changing. I think there is a culture within that police force that is insidious and it's corrupt. And until there is a day when we have, an absolute systemic overhaul of what policing looks like in this country, not just tinkering with the system, not just a training course here and a little change there. We need the whole thing to come down, because those officers don't care about black lives, and no training package is going to change that. So until they address that issue, until they address the culture, until they address the supremacist narrative that is rife throughout the force, then we will be here again and again and again, and we will not stop coming out, and we will not stop saying that Black Lives Matter or fighting for Chris Kaba and all of the others like him who've been killed at the hands of the police.
What was it like for you when, because to my recollection, you said to me you used to be yourself an officer with another force, true or not?
Yeah, I was a police officer with Merseyside Police Force 5 years ago.
And what was that like when you were in the force, and what kind of issues did you experience?
I don't think it will surprise anyone that I left quite early because of racism, misogyny, homophobia. And that's why I know that they're fully aware of the problem, because you only have to be in that station for 5 minutes. And this isn't just the Metropolitan Police, this is Merseyside Police, this is Greater Manchester Police. We've got about 6 police forces that are under special measures at the moment, so they're fully aware of the problem. Officers like myself have submitted reports, I've had things filed as a hate crime against me. They know what the issue is, and the issue is they have no intention of changing. So my advice to anyone who's black and thinking of joining the police is don't do it, because they don't want you. They want to use you as a puppet to hide their racism, and that's why I refuse to be a part of that organisation.
And my final question, as you know, just over the road, the Queen is laying in state after she passed last week, yeah? An hour ago, I was on the bridge just down the road there, interviewing and engaging with people queuing up to see the Queen. What do you say to those who say that this should not be taking place when the Queen is only a few hundred yards to my left?
I'm tired of being told that now is not the time to say Black Lives Matter. If now is the time for police officers to take the lives of young black men, young black fathers-to-be, then now is the time for us to be on the streets. And I will not be told that it's divisive. I will not be told to wait, because they're not waiting to cover it up. They're not waiting to paper over it, and they're not waiting to deny accountability. So this is exactly the time, because if now is the time to take a life and to continue to brutalise our communities, then now is the time to protest, and it is not inappropriate.
As normal, I would like to thank you very much for engaging with StreetMic. And what you haven't told me, who's this young lad down here? Big up. What's your name, sir?
Parker.
So, are you enjoying it? I'm assuming this is your...
My little boy.
Tell me, how you feeling being on the streets today with Mummy? Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Thank you very much. Excellent stuff. I look forward to engaging with both of you later on. Thank you very much. Hey, you must be proud he's out with you today, innit? Big up. Thanks a lot, yeah. So we are currently live streaming, just like we did last week, and we will be engaging with everyone down here today. And don't forget, if you like StreetMic, give me the thumbs up, make your comments down below, share and follow. So give me the thumbs up, make your comments down below, share and follow. And what we do, we go onto the streets, we meet interesting people, and we have an engaging conversation with them about any topic. And in a few moments, I'll be engaging with a well-known gentleman here, Cool. He's from the Campaign for Truth and Justice. And like me, he's a serial rebel. Excuse me, sir, what's your name? I've never met you before. Come forward.
Hello, sir.
Big up, big up, big up. Come forward a bit, sir. So, hey, where was you hiding last week?
Last week?
Yeah, last Saturday you was hiding.
Unfortunately, I was at another location. I weren't able to be here. But I was in Brixton on the Friday, the day before.
But you was in N9 instead, but moving away from that. Sir, you know the reasons why we are here today. Were you shocked when you discovered that last Monday, Chris had been shot by the police?
I was absolutely devastated when I heard the fact that another young black man had been shot and killed, who was unarmed and he was penned in. He couldn't, from what we all know, he could not, from where he was, pose a threat to anyone. He was penned in with police vehicles, and as I understand it from the footage I've seen, he couldn't even get out of the car. So for the police to use deadly force in apprehending him, I don't know how they're going to be able to justify that.
What I have heard, but I don't know how true that is, there is a false narrative being put out there that a vehicle was being used by Chris and it went for the police. Therefore, they were in fear of their lives. They were in imminent danger. Therefore, that was the authority for them to use deadly force. And that's a narrative that has been put out by an unnamed witness. Do you believe that?
If the police had any form of justification that they could try to convince us, the public, that they were acting in self-defense, that's what they would have put out from the very first start. If, like they did with Mark Duggan, when they shot and killed him, they, at the very first instance, said they believed him to have a firearm. And then they claimed that they saw him throw a firearm out of the vehicle before they stopped him.
Excuse me, if you can move forward a bit, yeah. Excuse me, a fly just went down my throat. Last week, as I said, I filmed this, I live streamed, yeah. And it was so emotional for me to see the family, the pain they had gone through. And, you know, I know you watch my stuff. When you saw all of that, what the family had gone through, they were out here only a few days after their loved one had been shot. You know, did you think what they did was brave in coming out to raise awareness?
You know what? I know what it's like to lose a child. It's the worst agony for a parent to have to bury their own child. And so it was extremely brave of them to take all their pain and come out here. But it was necessary because they need to see and feel that pain, the grief that they've left those families in. And yes, it was extremely brave of them to come out and join in those who are here to support them.
And I see amongst the crowd today is a gentleman, I've never engaged with him before, but his mum was one of the first people to be lost by police brutality, if that's the right word I can use. And I do hope to engage with him. But he lives near me, you get what I'm saying? And, you know, it's amazing the amount of people who have turned up. But, you know, it's the first time I've said to myself, I was a bit cautious in coming here, crossing that line because of what's going on the other side.
Yeah, and I have no comment to make about what's going on the other side.
Thank you very much, sir. But you're good, yeah?
Yes, I'm great.
How did you go last week? So this event is due to start at 12 o'clock, and that is the time now. And in a few moments, I've got Mavina, she's wearing my microphone, and I hope to actually engage with her and all of the other speakers down here today. But my name is Wendell Denner from StreetMic, and we are coming to you live and direct from outside of New Scotland Yard, where a protest, national protest in support of Chris Kaba is now going to begin.
All right. I'm going to warm up with some chants, yeah? So, right, I'm going to read them out first. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been to protests already. What do we want? Justice for Chris. When do we want it? Now.
In the queue.
You might trip someone up. You might cause a royal incident. Oh, you mate?
First for me, not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. They said they were speaking over it.
No, it's fake.
Yeah. I just got from London Bridge. I've been down there for 4 hours.
So what's on the queue?
You good, sis? Climbing on this? We're climbing on it, right? Vienna, you good? You good? Do you want to come over here or you want to stay over there? You want to come up? Do you guys? Snowball, come over here. Because I need people to like, I need my own people around me now. Yeah, you know what? What the fuck was that? Can you see why I'm on my edge? You guys just chill around here, right?
Yeah.
There's some movements.
Whatever you need.
No. I need Monster.
It's a little bit flat, but my mum put it in a bottle for me.
No, it's alright, it's alright. I don't know. You good? It's been alright. Who are we looking for? I just realised I ain't got no pockets or anything.
Sis, I'm jumping on this thing.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Yeah, I'm taking my shoe. It's not even straight, man.
This is...
But hold this. Babes, I think the other guys are going to need to stand in front of it. You know what I mean? Because, like, it's going to be one of those things. I can't get this on, you know. Like, I'm struggling. Can you help me put it in my back? I can't get it on. We've got this, right? We've got this, right? We're good. It feels like it's going to break, you know. Yeah. No, you know what? Let's try it, because you need elevation, because those in the back wouldn't even get to see. Okay. All right, then. 1, 2. I need to take the other shoe off. Nah, this one looks like it's going to break, you know. Nah, man. It's going to break, man. We're big girls, isn't it? I'm a big girl. Yeah, baby, you can't stand on that. Yeah. It's that, yeah. Yeah, pass, let me say. Let's see. It's a lot of moving parts, We're making it work, There's no stage, mate.
No, but is there any part? Apparently it's there.
It wouldn't let. You good? Come give me a hug. Let's ground this. We're good, right? All right. When I say, is this on? Mike? Okay, only one is working. Only. When I say black life, you say matter. Black life. Black lives. When I say black lives, you say matter. Black lives. Matter. Black lives. Matter. When I say Chris, you say matter. Chris. Matter. Chris. Matter.
Okay.
Thank you.
We need every single person that's here for Chris Kaba. We need you here. I'm seeing a lot of people over that side. We want everyone in front of New Scotland Yard. We want everyone in front of this building because these are the people who are responsible.
Everything we do today is for Chris Kaba's family. I want you guys to get familiar with his name. I want you to get familiar with who he is, who he was, who he could have been, And we are standing right opposite the establishment that created this grief that the family is going through right now. But I'm going to ask my sister to give you some stats.
Before the stats, let's get some energy going. No justice! No justice! No justice! No justice! What do we want? When do we want it? What do we need? When do we need it? No justice! No justice! No justice! No justice! Who killed Chris Kaba?
Police killed Chris Kaba!
Who killed Chris Kaba?
Police killed Chris Kaba!
What do we want?
Justice!
And what do we want?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
And when do we want it?
Now!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
That's better. That's more like it. Let's go. Let's go.
So I need you to actually say his name. I want us to say his name so loud that they can hear it. Are you ready?
Who killed Chris Kaba?
Please kill Chris Kaba!
Who killed Chris Kaba?
Please kill Chris Kaba!
What do we want?
Justice!
And when do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
And when do we want it?
Now!
Let's get one thing straight. Chris Kaba has joined a very, very long list of people whose lives have been taken by the police and by this state. Chris Kaba is the 1,833rd person to die in police custody or following police contact in England and Wales since 1990. That's 1,833 individuals whose lives have been cut short. That's 1,833 families who are grieving, who are mourning, who have a wound that will never close. That's 1,833 communities, friendship groups, community groups, everything. The loss cannot be quantified, it's immeasurable. So when we stand here and say we need justice, we're not just talking about justice for Chris, we're talking about justice for every single life that's been taken by the police in this country. No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace! It's about time that we come together. It's about time that we make sure we keep this in the media. It's about time that we don't wait for the media to tell our stories. It's about time that we no longer stay silent. Today, we stand united with this family. Today, we stand united to elevate their voices. Seeing his face, seeing the posters, seeing this king, and he was a king, and he is a king, because he's resting in power. We talk about resting in peace, but how can the family have peace when their children are being taken away from them? How can loved ones be able to leave when they know that this could have been avoided? The police power is just ridiculous right now. Our communities do not even know that police are moving around with guns in their car. Do you not know the trauma it is to be even stopped and searched, than to imagine being known to be able to be killed in that respect? I'm not going to say I'm okay today, so I'm not going to even try and pretend, because mental health is just something we need to talk about. It's okay to not be okay. I might not be all hype too much today, because it's a lot. But we do this, and we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors, and we stand on the shoulders of those who have come before us. Today is about Chris Kaba. Say his name. Chris Kaba! Say his name! 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 Chris Kaba! If they don't want to say his name, we'll say his name. We'll say his name until justice is seen. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No racist. Police. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No racist.
Police. Let's talk about that for a second, because they try to twist the narrative, and let's be clear what we're saying. When we say no justice, no peace, we're saying it's impossible. It's impossible for us to have peace in our lives when the police are killing our people. It's impossible for us to have peace in our communities when the police are brutalizing our youth, harming our families, victimizing, harassing, targeting. Let's get one thing clear. The deaths are the tip of the iceberg. It's a culture of violence. It's an inherently violent institution. It's an inherently racist institution. And as long as they have the power, as long as they have the tools, as long as they have the resources, as long as they have the money, as long as they have public support, there won't be a change. They will keep brutalizing. They will keep harming. They will keep inflicting trauma on our people, on our communities. And unfortunately, they will keep killing. This is what they do. We can see this. History tells us. History tells us what happens. And unfortunately, history also tells us what happens to these families. What happens to these communities. The likelihood of this system, the same system that's killing people, being the system we rely on to get justice. Wake up, people. Wake up. This system is not going to give us the justice that we need. So we're here to mobilize. We're here to organize. If you're angry about what happened to Chris Kaba, we need to connect and network. This is one part of the work. The real work happens every single day. The real work happens every single day in your communities. Building care, building solidarity, building how we actually repair harm. This system doesn't repair harm. This system only creates further harm. And it can't address that harm. It can't. One police officer has been prosecuted successfully after killing somebody in this country. Only one. And that happened last year. Dalian Atkinson was tasered 3 times. He was kicked in the head so that there were footprints on his face. That officer didn't get convicted of murder. That officer, whose name I can't remember, he only got convicted of manslaughter. He got 8 years in prison. Let's keep that same energy. Let's keep that same energy. What do we need? Justice. But we need to really define what that justice means and look like. For this family here today, we're here in support, we're here in solidarity. They've got a long journey to go. 2 weeks in, we're not even 2 weeks deep since this happened. Some of these families have been fighting for 20 years, 30 years.
35 years I've been fighting.
35 years and longer. This is what this system does. No justice. No justice. No justice. No racist. No racist. What do we want? Justice. And when do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. And when do we want it? Now. No justice. No justice. No justice. No justice. No justice.
When I say Chris, you say Kaba, Chris. Chris. When I say Chris, you say Kaba, Chris. Chris. When I say Chris, you say Kaba, Chris. Chris. When I say Chris, you say Kaba, Chris. We put our fist up because this is us. Everyone put your fist up. Put your fist up and understand that this is what unity we need to try and create. We need to make sure that when the cameras are not clicking, when the Instagram lives are not living, you are still speaking about Chris Kaba. When you're tired and you feel like you can't go on, I need you to talk about Chris Kaba, because guess what? He can only live if you speak his name. His legacy has to get justice. We're not waiting for 10 years. We're not waiting for that long. We are going to make sure there is justice in this case. Because guess what? I am tired. I am tired. I am tired. The collective trauma is enough. It's not okay that this is the only time we get to come together. And most of the times we're sharing stories about loved ones going through pain, losing someone, stop and search. It's all too much. The younger generations are watching this. Do you know what the PTSD for all my young black kings who can't even think about walking outside and knowing that someone's going to judge them just for being black? Your skin is not a weapon. You are not a threat. I say that again to my brothers and sisters. Your skin is not a weapon. You are not a threat, and you do not fit the description. we withdraw our consent. It's about time we stand united. It's about time we are our brothers and sisters' keeper. It's about time that we use our voices and not be keyboard warriors. For those who are not here, I know there's different reasons, but if you could be here and you're not here, question yourself. Your silence is consent. You're part of the problem. I'm not apologizing for it. I said it as it is. But that being said, because when it's time for us to turn up to certain things that don't have any input into our life, if you don't turn up for Chris today, tomorrow it might be you, it might be your kids, it might be your family, so we need to turn up. Turn up when even you don't know the person's name. Turn up and speak his name in power and in strength. Ask what you can do to make sure his voice lives. But what you cannot do is do nothing. Because when you think it's not about you, they're cleansing us. It's a genocide. Take out our men, then what are we left? Stats, right? Now they've left a woman without her fiancé and a baby without her father. Can you imagine? So now I need you guys to check yourself. Everyone, check yourself every day. And now I'm just going to bring some amazing, dynamic speakers who are all going to bring different narratives into this. But let me introduce you to Temi from Forefront's co-host for today. It's not easy what we do when you see us do this work. And I'm going to give you your flowers and say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you!
So I'm going to invite Belle, MP Belle. Can we give her a round of applause while she comes up?
Thank you everybody for coming out today. And thank you for all of the support that you continue to show, and all of the support that you have continued to express, and the way in which you've continued to express it. I think it's been so important to the Kaba family, who you'll hear from soon. It's been immense to them, and it makes all the difference. Now you know that, or you may know that yesterday there were 2 police officers stabbed in central London. Now I mention that because it's wrong for them to have been hurt in the course of their duty. And I'm sure everybody here agrees with that. And loads of people have expressed that. Unfortunately, when Chris Kaba was shot and killed, the narratives that we heard from the media were that he was a drill artist, that he was a rapper, that he'd been to prison before. Look at him, he's clearly a criminal. All of those really horrible and disgusting things. And almost as if to say, because of any of that, because he was a black man, that he may have deserved what happened to him. And that is a really popular narrative. You may have seen it online, you may have seen people say these things and think to yourself, how could people think things like this? But they do. So when people say and get up and shout that Black Lives Matter, and people say, don't be ridiculous, all lives matter, there's a clear reason why they're doing it. Because in popular narrative, Black lives don't. If they didn't, people would have been given justifications for Chris to die in that way. No one deserves to die in that way. Nobody deserves to die in that way. Let's be absolutely clear. And we also have to talk about crime in this country and justice in this country, because we know that it's not about whether or not you did something wrong. It's about who you are. It's about how much money you have. If you are a young black man, you are more likely to find yourself in certain situations than other people, simply because of your race, simply because of your class, simply because of who you are. So the idea that anybody in this country at the moment, especially with how disgraceful our justice system is, should deserve what happens to them is fundamentally wrong. And I mention these things not necessarily because they are directly related to what's happening with this campaign, but I think everybody needs to be absolutely clear about what's happening, absolutely clear about the narrative that the media put out in the first instance, absolutely clear about the narrative some disgraceful people put out. And to all of them, I just have to say, shame on you. Shame on all of you. To all of you here, media here today, anybody, if you put that out before, shame on you. Because that is the reason why people continue to kill black men freely, and people don't stand up and say anything about it. So the next
Jeremy
time,
Corbyn
just like
is in
other
the
people that
house.
have
Jeremy
died
Corbyn
recently,
is
when
in the house.
somebody dies, regardless of what you think they have or haven't done, show that sympathy, show that humanity, because they are human beings. Now, the Kaba family have been quite clear in what they've answered, and I think there has been some shock at the level of dignity that they have done it with. They have called for peace every single time. They have even called for people not to make anti-monarchy statements because they say it's got nothing to do with the campaign, and they're absolutely right. All they want is justice. They don't want to see any unrest because they understand that that type of violence is what ended their son's life. So we thank you for continuing to respect that. And today you're going to hear some of the demands that the family have asked for again. And let's be very clear. They have said that they want to make sure and understand whether or not the police were specifically following Chris. That's going to be huge in terms of what happened. And there are a lot of things that if you've known that the campaigners asked for, they're just for the family. We're not asking for the whole world to see the body-worn camera footage before the investigation happens. That's something that the family have done and been able to achieve with your support. So they will now see that body-worn camera footage. The officer has finally been suspended. No, actually, someone's saying that is standard. That is not standard. Did you know that in law, even once they're under investigation from the IOPC, they may be removed from active duty, but a police officer, even in that situation, even when something that they've done has ended someone's life, they're not automatically suspended. If that's not automatically suspended, it's not they are not automatically suspended. They are made to wait for the decision of a senior officer. That is fundamentally wrong. And if that's an issue in law, then that absolutely needs to be changed. And the Kaba family have asked, on top of that, for this officer to be interviewed under caution immediately, as a normal person would if they were being investigated for homicide. It makes no sense to me, and I'm a politician, it makes no sense to me how, firstly, if in any other profession, if you did something that ended someone's life, you would have been suspended immediately. And if you were being investigated for homicide, you would be interviewed under caution immediately, because that is what you do. There's no looking for who did it. We know who did it. We just want to know whether or not they were guilty. And that's the final thing that they've asked for. They want to make sure that there is no delay in any charge. And there will be a delay in any charge if the proper steps are not taken. There are a load of bureaucratic reasons as to why we're being told that this can't happen. And that's why we need you to continue standing with the Kaba family, standing up against any bureaucracy, standing up against the racism which the IOPC have now said that they're going to investigate, something else that has happened, something else which is momentous, and I don't believe I've seen quite often in any case like this. As you may have heard if you were here last week, this is going to take stamina, and it's important that all of you keep coming out for the Kaba family every single time you can. If you're doing it online, that's absolutely great to counter all those negative narratives and make sure people know the real story. Thank you very much.
No justice! No justice! No justice! No races! No races! What do we want? Where do we want it? What do we want? Where do we want it? No justice! No justice! No justice! This is a family campaign. Everyone here, big up yourselves, because we're here to support this family. We're here to stand in solidarity with this family. No one knows what they're going through. It's not even been 2 weeks. Their family member was executed. He was killed. He was murdered. Let's get one thing right. He was executed. We need to fight for this justice. This family needs our support. So thank you, every single person, for being here today. I can see so many of you, and this is warming. It's energizing. Don't make them fight on their own. No justice. No justice. At this point, we would really like to introduce Chris's cousin, Shida, who's going to say a few words. Please pick her up. Please make some noise for Shida.
First and foremost, we thank God. Irrespective of what religion you're in, what faith you're in, there's a higher power, there's a creator that governs the universe. and we give thanks. I'd like to say a big thank you to every single one of you that's come out again. The ones that were here last week and the ones that have come out again. The ones that were making their presence known online, you know, doing things that we didn't even ask for. Not in the bad way, obviously, but, you know, just carrying on the campaign, fighting the fight as if it's their personal fight. Like, the gratitude is deep. It's very, very deep. As much as we're going through sadness right now, the blessing of so much people in so little time coming out and supporting and taking it on as if it's their own. And I have to keep saying, people are taking this on as if it's their own. And that's something personally I would have done as well if it wasn't Chris, if it was somebody else's child. I would have been here, you know, if it wasn't my cousin. I would have been in that crowd as well. So, you know, in life where they say, treat people how you want to be treated, yeah? This is what's happening now as well to the family. I'm so thankful. Uncle and auntie, they, after last week, they get it. They get it. They get how much people are helping them fight. They haven't got the strength to be out here all the time. They haven't got the strength. Like, they just haven't got the strength. But you guys' support and love is hugging them. It's holding them. Like, they know they're not alone. Even as a family as a whole, we know we are not alone. And we are so grateful for every single one of you. I don't know everyone here, but I am so thankful to every single one of you. And all these people here, people behind me, the things that we're doing behind the scenes, the sleepless nights, you know, we still have our own families as well. We have to balance the battle with family life. So you can only understand, people are dropping everything. Yeah? People are really dropping everything to come out, to show out. You know? Certain times we're not able to smile, we're not able to kind of carry on and stuff like that. But you see, with this support and love, and you guys have really been listening to us, respecting us when we're saying, if you guys are going to protest outside of London, this is the protocols. You guys have been respecting. And that brings so much joy and peace in our hearts, because we don't want no violence, we don't want nothing else kicking off, you know, in the name of Chris. As Belle said, they try to ridicule his character and say all these things. One thing I want to say about that is, he, without sin, cast the first stone.
Tell them again, say it again.
Yeah?
Say it again.
He, without sin, cast the first stone. Yeah? Because there's certain things that people do behind closed doors, the world will never know. Yeah? The world will never know. So let's ponder on that. Yeah? Before we start casting judgment. And these things as well, there's a baby on the way.
Yeah.
There's a baby on the way. We're fighting this fight, not just because of, you know, we want to get justice just for now. There's a legacy that needs to be left behind. There's a baby that's coming into this world, and she needs to know that people fought for her father. People fought for her father, and she will see the world in a whole different outlet. She's not coming in this world prejudging people, coming into this world with PTSD. Imagine, as a baby, as a toddler, and growing up, you've got PTSD. Can you imagine? But let her come into this world where she sees that, yeah, there's brighter days. There's absolutely brighter days. And let's extend our love and our support to Chris's girlfriend, who is fiance. Let me rate it a bit more. Yeah, fiance, who is in bits. She's supposed to be planning a baby shower. Yeah, not a funeral, a baby shower. And we tried to bring up her spirit a bit and asked her if she still wanted to go ahead. She said, how? I said, how? How am I supposed to do that? I can barely get out of bed. How? So you guys don't even see the effects it's having on her. Also, Chris's friends, all the mandem that I hear.
Big up to the mandem.
I see you. I feel you. You know, a lot of them reached out, even a lot of mandem from not Chris's circle reached out, offering their support, offering the unity amongst the youth. And this is the road that we want to take. The unity, the support, that this is Chris today, it could be anyone else tomorrow, which we're trying to prevent with this battle. So mandem, I see you, you've got a voice. I know people are concentrating on the family and this and that, but I'm going to make sure that you lot get the help as well. Yeah? Because PTSD has spiked up. Yeah? PTSD is at an all-time high with the mandem. Even the ones that are not even involved in the streets. Yeah? Just for being black alone. Yeah? There's PTSD. My brothers, the mandem, we've got you. Yeah? We've got you. So I want to go through the demands again to finalize everything. So number one, did the officers know that it was Chris in the car, or were they simply following a suspect vehicle? Number two, the suspended officer must be interviewed under caution without delay and keep family informed of this. And finally, number three, there should be a charging decision within weeks and not months of this. There should be a charging decision. There should be a charging decision within weeks and not months. Yeah? Okay, let me go through it again so people at the back can hear. Did the officers know that it was Chris in the car, or were they simply following a suspect vehicle? The suspended officer must be interviewed under caution without delay and keep family informed of this. There should be a charging decision within weeks and not months. So this is our demand. Yeah? Hopefully we get somewhere within this week. And thank you so much for what's going on.
I want you to show some love for this queen. Shida! Touch one! Touch two! Touch one! Touch one! Touch one! This is what Shida is saying. We've been treating Chris as if he was our own, because he is our own. Because he is our own. Touch one! Touch one! Touch one! Touch one! No justice! No justice! No justice! No racist!
I'm going to ask the media to also respect before you take pictures of people in the crowd, because I've seen some incidents. Please just make sure that you ask people their consent before you take their pictures, okay? We might be okay with it, but not everybody wants their pictures out there like that, so consent, okay? Let that be a norm. With that, I would love to invite someone that I know has been an ally from day one. An ally is different, you know. There's some that quack like a duck, look like a duck, ain't a freaking duck. I've got a friend who's got a cat who is black. I don't care. The ones that turn up are the ones that I can jokingly say uncle and auntie to, and I'm not going to do it today. But I'm going to say the one and only, never replicated or duplicated, Jeremy Corbyn!
Thank you. This is a moment of terrible sadness. Obviously our solidarity and sympathy to all of Chris's families, to what Shida just said, to what the family just said, and to the child yet to be born. who'll be a child growing up having never known her father. Because he was killed, because he was shot through the windscreen of a car. We're here today to mourn his death, to mourn his passing, to remember his life, but also to show that we will never allow him to be forgotten. We will never allow the victims of this kind of violence on either side of the Atlantic ever to be forgotten. We cannot have a situation where somebody is shot dead through the windscreen of a car and the officer concerned was not immediately suspended from the police force, not from duty, but from the police force. And as others have pointed out, as Bell has pointed out and others, that in any other job, profession or walk of life, if somebody dies as a result of possibly of your actions, you get suspended. If you're a train driver, a bus driver, a delivery driver involved in a terrible accident, you're immediately suspended so that inquiries can take place. And so I absolutely support the demands made by the family. And I think that this demonstration today, despite everything else that's going on and the national mourning that's going on, the fact that we're here is very, very important. It's bearing witness with the family to their tragedy. Imagine there was nobody here. Imagine nobody had said anything. Imagine nobody had raised a voice anywhere, either in London, in Birmingham, in Leeds, in Manchester, in Glasgow, or so on. Imagine the terrible pain the family would be going through. We cannot live their pain, but we can support them in their pain. We do that by bearing witness, by being here today, and in all the other towns and cities all across the country that have organised demonstrations. And we're going to carry on being here. We're going to carry on being here until an interview takes place under caution, until such time as a process takes place to deal with the justice about Chris's death. But it also raises many, many wider questions about our society, about poverty, injustice, inequality, about the style and form of policing in inner urban areas, about the large numbers of young black people who are arrested on the streets or taken in for questioning or stopped and searched in a wholly disproportionate manner, the number of young Muslims that go through the same experience. There is not equality of policing, and this killing and all the others on either side of the Atlantic lead to a greater sense of anger and injustice. Turn that anger into positive demands. Turn that anger into the positive demand of the kind of society we want to live in and the accountability we demand from every service that we pay for and run ourselves, because that is what is lacking at the present time. The campaign for accountability of the Metropolitan Police goes back a very, very long way. Originally it was set up as a national institution. Until the formation of the Greater London Authority, it was the responsibility of the Home Secretary. It's now moved on a little bit from there. But I want a much higher degree of accountability to bring security and safety to our communities. And so no other family ever goes through what the tragedy of the Kaba family are going through at the moment. And I read the news. I followed the reporting of this event when it happened. And yes, there was a subliminal message there. He was black, he was a rapper, he was in a car, the car was being searched for by the police, and so on. It seems to me that somebody put 2 and 2 and 2 together and made 7. And so can we demand all of this? Respect for the family, respect for each other, and thanks to all those that have come out today and shared their thoughts online. Because we're going to be here again, and again, and again, and again. And we'll keep on being here. Because if we allow this tragedy to go pass us by, another tragedy will happen, and then another tragedy. Let's make this our line in the sand. Make this our line in the sand, the killing of Chris Barber. Solidarity, deepest sympathies and absolute support to the family and to the loss of a wonderful young man whose life has been cut short whose child will never know him. That child will grow up, hopefully remembering that all of us came here today to stand in solidarity with her dad. Thank you.
That's the former leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn. Don't forget, if you like StreetMic, give me the thumbs up. Make your comments down below and hit that subscribe button.
After they killed Mark Duggan,
Hit
Smiley
that subscribe
Coulter,
button.
Oliseni
Hit the
Lewis,
button.
Jermaine Baker, Rashawn Charles, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It's too many. It's too many. Let's fight for justice, people. Let's get this right. He's been suspended, this officer, with full pay. With full pay after he's killed someone. We need to know who it is. After all these years, Mark Duggan, we still just know that officer as V53. Who killed Chris Kaba? Not just the police, it was an individual. What's his name? Lift the anonymity. There are wider demands around how this system works. Police killing people, we don't know who they are. Getting suspended, if they even get suspended, we're paying for him to sit at home and do what? You killed someone. Now when it's our youth? What do we have for our youth? We've got joint enterprise. That means they can go to prison for things they didn't even do. What happens to our youth? Their picture gets put in the paper. Their street gets posted in the paper. The week that something happens, the day after. Why is this the standard? For the youth, for black youth, but we don't have the standard for the state. Why do we have such a high responsibility for black youth, but when it comes to the Metropolitan Police, we have no standards? There's no bar. I'm going to say it's a low bar. There's no bar. No justice. No justice. No racist. No racist. It's my privilege, my honor to introduce this sister who's been fighting for years and years and years for her brother. Another life taken by this brutal state, by this brutal system, by the Metropolitan Police. Another man that was taken and no responsibility, no accountability that we've seen. Marcia Rigg. Let's hear it from Marcia Rigg.
Let's hit that subscribe button and follow StreetMic. So hit that subscribe button.
I'm just going to fight my tears. I'm not fighting my tears. No justice. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Justice. No peace. Justice. No peace. My condolences to Chris's family. I'm sorry that I was not at the march last week. I was out of London. So this is the first time I've been able to speak in public. Another one. Another black man shot unnecessarily by the Metropolitan Police. And what a week for it to happen. This week. The whole country is grieving. We are grieving for our loved ones, our kings, our queens. Let's not forget that. This is a really good turnout. It shouldn't have to take a death for us to all wake up again and come out on the streets to fight for equal rights and justice. We know there is no justice. There is just us. But we're not going anywhere. A pandemic couldn't stop the whole world protesting on the streets. A pandemic worldwide could not stop us from going on the streets when they killed George Floyd in the USA. And this is no different, because the deaths happen in the United Kingdom as well. Not all officers carry guns in the United Kingdom.
as we've all learnt from the death of Mark Duggan, Azelle Rodney, Jermaine Baker, Chris Kaba, Cherry Gross, a gun is let off within split seconds. No questions are asked. But when they use their bare hands here in the UK, like how we saw George Floyd die, that takes X amount of minutes for somebody to become unconscious and then die at their bare hands, that's murder. Everybody saw the officer murder George Floyd. And there's so many in the United Kingdom, like my brother Sean Rigg, Saini Lewis, Kingsley Burrell. There are so many. Ian Taylor, the most recent one that we heard about by Brixton police officers, who was killed in 2019, and we only got to hear about it a few months ago after the inquest. Brixton police officers, where he was extremely unwell and vulnerable and having an asthma attack. The officers wouldn't give him as much as water to drink when he was asking for it, when he was saying, I can't breathe and I need water. What amount of training do police officers need to know that somebody who is dying in front of them needs water? I understand an officer, a female officer, opened a brand new bottle of water, drank from herself, and put the rest on her body to cool her down because it was a hot day, and watched Ian Taylor die in Cole Harbour Lane. Really? Modern day lynching at its best. They shoot Chris Kaba. There's no gun found. The pressure of the public is when they suspend the officer. And an investigation by the IOPC for homicide. Homicides are in the United States. This is murder in the United Kingdom. But my people, don't hold your breath. The pressure of the public's interest has forced them to suspend the police officer. No other reason. But that does not mean he's going to be charged with murder. This is going to be a long journey. Family, you've got the community on your side. You've got the families on your side. You've got social media on your side. Don't give up. Don't let up. Because whilst they are grieving in this country, we are grieving for Chris Kaba. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. On the 29th of October, Saturday, the 29th of October, United Families and Friends Campaign, a coalition of all the families whose loved ones have died at the hands of the state, in prisons, in mental health units, police officers and immigration officers. We are going to be marching from Trafalgar Square, 12 o'clock noon, down to Whitehall in remembrance of all those loved ones that have been murdered by the state without no accountability and no justice. I want to see everybody, black and white, we all must unite and stand on the streets in front of Downing Street. We have a new Prime Minister. We have a new commissioner. We have a new king. Now is the time for change. Now! Trafalgar Square, 12 noon. March to Downing Street, the United Families and Friends campaign. We're going to have celebrities. We're going to have footballers. And this year, I want the whole of London to be there. Look online for all the details. Thank you very much. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Who are the murderers? Police are the murderers. Thank you very much. My name is Marcia Rick.
Thank you, Marcia.
Give it up for Marcia Rick. No justice. No justice. No racist. No racist. No justice. No justice. No racist. No racist. All right. Up next, we have a young man who was here last week, keeping the energies going and flowing. His name's Vic, and he's here to share some words today. Give it up for Vic!
Hey, quickly, repeat after me. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Being black is not a crime.
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 No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
I had to make notes because I'm a bit emotional today. So I had to make some points I wanted to speak on. I want to start off by talking about the English legal system. We have a system that's based on precedents. Basically meaning whatever is legally allowed to happen today is going to be legally allowed to happen tomorrow. And when you look at all the numbers and the statistics that people have been calling out of, you know, death in custody and police brutality, you can tell there is a tradition, or there is this, I would call it assumption at this point, that this type of precedence is okay with us. Is it okay with us? No. Is it okay with us? No. Okay then. I want to tell you about the hunter and prey mentality that exists in our communities between the police and young black men. We are heavily marginalized. The police put on the uniform and come into this community with no intention to understand. They want to run with a stereotype. So that means that I see 3 male in a tracksuit might be a gang member. I'm a father. I got a 12-year-old son. I'm scared to let him go to the shop because he's an IC female and he likes wearing tracksuits. And I'm worried about what police brutality, what it's going to do to his mental health. And I don't even have a solution. That's the honesty. And that's why I'm out here with the rest of you lot. Because we need a solution and we know this needs to stop. Because the effects of stop and search on young people who are not in that way inclined is so detrimental. It changes their perspective of how they see the world or what they think their futures are going to be. And we can't allow that in our community. Are we going to allow that in our communities? No. I said, are we going to allow that in our communities? No. I want to talk about the investigation process. That really annoyed me. First of all, they said the officer got a gross misconduct. You get a gross misconduct when you speak to your colleague wrong at work. You get a gross misconduct when you take the piss with your lunch break. Do you get a gross misconduct for murder? Do you get gross misconduct for murder? No. Exactly. So they got the pressure. But one of the things they did when they said they've given him a gross misconduct, they wrote in there, and this was a disrespectful, I don't know who wrote that, they wrote this in there. They said this does not mean it's going to lead to a criminal investigation. That's like slapping us with one hand and trying to comfort us with the other. Do we look like idiots? And then moving further, they heard the outcries of the community, and they came with suspension. Now I'm a bit confused there because we have laws in this country, right? We have laws in this country. So when you look at the investigation, the people that know exactly what happened, the police do, because they have the camera footage and they can see what happened. And they have an ulterior motive for not releasing that footage. So as far as I'm concerned, you lot already know what happened. What we doing with suspensions and gross misconduct, and what we playing around for, he needs to be interviewed under caution like the rest of us would, because not me or you would not get away with it like that. I want to speak on the armed response, SO19. You know, a lot of their, you know, what they do, you don't see it on the news. But they come to the communities like they're terminators, like they're exempt from the rule. And over the years in our communities, we've accepted it because, you know, we suffer in silence, we're used to the violation. So there's an element of, are they allowed to do that? So that means police can stop you if they think they've got reasonable cause. Again, going back to what I said about us being marginalized, that's all they need to stop us. And that comes with a violation. Now, why I want to touch on this is because of this. Armed response specifically, their training, on top of their training, is this. They've got to be able to execute their job whilst avoiding civilian casualties. Let me get a mic. See, the devil's trying to block what I'm saying. The devil's trying to block what I'm saying. Yeah, no, we got that, it's back. Yeah, the devil's a liar. The devil's a liar, can't win. On top of the police armed response training is they've got to be able to execute the mic's cutting. The devil, you're not going to stop me from this. You're not going to stop me from saying what I'm saying. Let's sort the barrier. Can you not hear me? I don't even need a mic. I don't even need a mic. I don't even need a mic. Can the people in the back hear me? Yo. Can you hear me? Yeah, the devil's crying. Nah, it's still cutting out.
Can you guys go sort it out? Can they go sort it out?
Yo, can you hear me? Yeah. Now we're talking. The reason I wanted to bring that up is because armed response is supposed to be able to execute their duties whilst avoiding civilian casualties. They are specifically trained for this. So that means they're supposed to assess situations, and they would turn around and say, decisions made in real time can never be accurate. I think that's rubbish. Because you've got two eyes, right, and you've got a brain. And if we look at Chris's situation, they didn't use their eyes or their brain. You know what they used? Their assumptions. You know what they used? Their preconceived notions. And that's why they dealt with him like that. Now, recently, a new law was passed, I don't know, earlier in this year, that gave police more power to stop and search you. One of the things for all the parents in here, they say to you, your first right is you have the right to remain silent. But if your son or your daughter or your child is stopped and he doesn't speak, they use that for a reason to search him. They would say the fact that you're not speaking to us means we've got to search you to verify who you are. So what are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to respond to this? Another thing I want to touch on. When you see us protesting and marching, when I see you guys protesting and marching, let me tell you what, it just fills up my heart to see this much community spirit. It fills up my heart to see this much community spirit. It fills up my heart to see the potential that we've got. And that's another thing. A lot of people here, how they've organized this is organization that's had to happen on the spot. So I asked myself one question. What can we do with weeks of planning? What can we do with months of planning? What can we do with years of planning? And I don't want this to be one of them situations where it's like we protest, we go home, and we forget about it, and we're back here again when we feel triggered. We have to carry on, because guess what? If all of you guys didn't come and show the Kaba family your support, the police will still be messing them around. Yep. I'm gonna end this by saying this. I want to talk to the man them. You see this one there? This one touched me specifically. And you man know what I've got. You know what we're dealing with. Because here's a fear I've got. All the narratives that's being formed by the media, whether Chris was this, Chris was that, Chris was that. I look at Chris that I could be Chris. My son could be Chris. My cousins could be Chris. My nephews could be Chris. All the man them could be Chris. So guess what? If they think it's alright to treat him like that, they're going to think it's alright to treat me like that. And that's why I'm out here standing with the family. And when you go home today, or before you leave today, I just want to say thank you to everybody. And I also want to say, nothing we do is going to take away the pain the Kaba family's feeling. Nothing we do is going to take that away, because you can't replace life. You can't replace life. And that's why we have to have stamina. And that's why we can't stop. That's why we got to keep making noise. That's why we got to keep using the hashtag. And we got to let them know one thing. Next time you come into our communities to execute your job, you're going to remember what we was here doing today. That if you do that again, we're going to be back out here even in more fools. Thank you.
Don't forget, if you like what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button.
Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! Say his name! Chris Kaba! 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 That's it.
Hit that subscribe button.
Guys, we have to just shout now because we don't have no speakers, so I need all the energy. Let's keep the same energy. Let's keep the same energy. Next up, we would like to introduce Manduri. Give it up for Mandu. Woo!
we can. The first thing I want to say to Mama Chris and Baba Chris, I am sorry. No parent should have to bury their child. And to Chris's family, nobody, no relative should have to lose somebody they love in circumstances like this. I tell you something, this year I am losing count at the number of times I have been here outside Scotland Yard at a march, at a protest to challenge police brutality and police misconduct. It keeps happening. And you know what? Us being here tells us a few things. The fact that we have to keep coming tells us about the depth and breadth of the problems, the scale of the rot that infects this institution. But you know what it also says? It also says something about our resistance. And that's what I want to focus on over the next few minutes. Our resistance. If they think our pain will dampen our resolve, they are wrong! Yes. If they think our grief will give way to apathy, they are wrong! Yes. They cannot gaslight us. We will not let them gaslight us. And who do I mean when I say they? Well, I mean a lot of different people. Of course, it's right that finally, too slow going, but finally, the officer in question was suspended. Of course, it's right. But it's wrong that it took public pressure to make it happen. But you know what? It is bigger. This is bigger than the individual officer in question. This is about the institution. This is about the culture within that institution. This is about the leadership of that institution. And as Marcia says, there's a new commissioner. We will hold him accountable. Yes. And you know what? This is political too. We have a new Home Secretary. We will hold her accountable. That's why it's so important. You heard what Marcia said. You heard about the 29th. You heard about solidarity. You heard what Temi said about how 1,800 people have been killed by police since 1990. 1,800 families grieving. We will hold those in power accountable. We will do so in Chris's name. Say his name with me. Chris Kaba. Chris Kaba. Chris Kaba. Chris Kaba. Chris Kaba. Chris Kaba. Louder. Chris Kaba. Chris Kaba. That's right. No justice. No peace. No justice. All right. We will hold Chris's name in our hearts.
gives me, you know, no justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No racists!
Police!
No racists!
Police!
Have you noticed most of this fight is normally done by strong black queens, right? Do you know most of this fight is done by strong black queens? And I'm about to introduce another one. Another one that continues to fight in spaces that we can't even get into. One and only Mel Mullins.
Big up Mel Mullins.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No racist! Police! No racist! Police! Greetings, everyone. Greetings. I'm sending. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sorry. I'm sending solidarity, and I want to thank the family for continuing to expose what is going on. I want to thank them for pulling through their pain. I want to thank them for making sure that this injustice for Chris Kaba's life continues to shine through, and that the police will be held responsible. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
It's on. 1, 2.
Yay!
Let's just make sure. Say his name! Say his name! Say his name! Say his name! You got it.
Thank you. Again, just to remind all of you to keep the family in your prayers all the time. Keep pushing them forward through their pain. I wanted to say that processes should be tried, tested. They should be fair and consistent and allow flexibility for mitigation. What mitigating circumstances would there be in this circumstance where you murder a young black man? Where is the mitigation? Where is it? Where is the fact that police continue to go into our communities and terrorize our people over and over again, and these things continue to happen? Are we going to continue to let these things happen with no accountability all the time? Are we? No. If any of us were in charge, any people like us, community leaders, were in charge or in places, in spaces where we should be, would we let any of these things ever happen? And this is what keeps on happening. They keep putting certain types of people in spaces to discriminate against us, be racist against us, and continue this cycle and process. And there are people that continue to believe in this racist system. They continue to believe in it. So to the point that they keep on trying to defame Chris's character in the media. They keep doing it. They keep trolling and they keep trying. And now we're going to allow them to do that to Chris or anybody else. We're not. I heard someone say, oh, juries don't like to convict police officers. When have any of those juries looked like any of us? When? When will they ever look like any of us? That needs to change right now. They talk about race cards. Race card? Have you ever gone into a shop and bought a deck of cards and it has race card in it? Have you? No, this is serious. It's so deep. It continues. They're always talking about things that they know nothing about, that they don't feel, and that they have no understanding of what the repercussions in real life is all about in our communities, in our lives. This is a young man who's got a young child coming up. And again, my heart goes out to his girlfriend, who's going to be carrying a child forward that will not know her father. My heart goes out to them. I wanted to say
that no matter what, the police have to answer to the family. They must answer to our family. They must answer to all the families who have ever sought justice. There's people waiting for justice 20-odd years. This can't happen any longer. No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! And again, to thank the people that will stand forward for this family, keep on organising this fight, keep coming out in your hundreds, in your thousands. Keep talking to people. Keep going into spaces. I'm in loads of spaces and all I'm talking about is this and all the other injustices. And that's all I need to talk about right about now. Because first I'm black, and then next I'm community, and next time for everybody here and everybody that will seek justice for Chris Kaba. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for keep coming out, and thank you for keeping this campaign alive. Solidarity to all. No justice! No justice! No racist! No racist! No justice! No justice! No racist! No racist! What do we want? Justice! And when do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! And when do we want it? Now! No justice! No justice! No peace! Let's remember, people, we're here because a family is grieving and mourning. We can't understand. Only the other families who have been through this, and there are many of them here with us today, give thanks. Only those families really understand what it's like to have your loved one killed by these people, by police. They're looking at us from the window. Yes, by you. Yeah, that's what I thought. Jefferson is one of the family spokesperson who's been speaking to the media, who's been trying to hold the campaign together, and it's a strain. It's a strain. It's almost been 2 weeks of non-stop media. Everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to take a picture. It's draining. As Sheila said, they have their own families. They had their own lives before this happened. And they've been thrown into this turmoil. So we need to support them. Let's hear from Jefferson and let's show him your support.
Guys, on behalf of the family, I want to thank everyone for coming. Mum and Dad couldn't make it. Like, emotionally, it was just too much for them. But they did send a message saying thank you and that they appreciate all your love and support and your kindness, and it means the world to them, especially during these trying times. As you know, a lot of you know that yesterday we did go to see the body.
Because he's not saying anything.
And it was so tragic. It was so tragic. The whole time I was just thinking, Chris, like, just get up. Just get up, like, please. I was literally just begging him. And he looked so beautiful. He looked so handsome. And he just looked like he was sleeping. And one thing I said is, as much as he's sleeping, and as much as he's not there, guys, don't feed into it, don't feed into it, don't feed into it, don't feed into it. As much as he's sleeping, as much as he's not here, I'm a huge believer in God. And Thomas Jefferson once said, the justice of God never sleeps. Yes! So he's not here, and he doesn't have a voice, but we have a voice. And I'm going to fight for him, we're going to fight for him until the very end. Because this isn't normal. We can't let them get away with this. You know, we can't let them get away with this. He was a human being. You know, he had fears. He was once a child. He went to school. He was looking forward to things. He was a soon-to-be father. And now he won't have that anymore. For what reason? Like, why? So thank you so much for being here. Once again, the family truly, truly, and sincerely appreciate your support. It means the world to us. And yeah, we'll keep fighting until the very end. Thank you. We got Chris's mum's close friend who's also going to talk and wants to say a few words.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
I'd like just to thank everyone here to be here. Like you people can notice, I'm French, I speak French, but I want to speak about Chris just a little bit. What I wanted to say thanks for everyone. They left their house, to leave their house, to come here, to stand up. I'm not ashamed to be here to speak my broken English. I need to tell people to stop. I want to tell people to stop what they are doing for our child, our kids, our black children. You can see on the media, you see the young boy, the way they stop them to search with no respect. They don't do the same for the another side. That's why I'm so upset. I got anger, but not to do bad, but to stand up to say to stop. We tell them to stop. They need to stop about what they are doing. We are human. Thank you.
Say his name. Say his name. Say it. Say his name. Say his name. No justice. No justice. No justice. No racist. What do we want? And when do we want it? What do we want? And when do we want it? No justice. No justice. No racist. I want you to imagine you were at home as a child, as a young person, and the police came in and raided your house and shot your mother. Yeah? Shot your mum. It's not a story, it's reality. This is what happens in this country. This is what happened to Cherry Gross in the 80s. And it's my honor to introduce her son, Lee, to come and speak. Please big up Lee.
First and foremost, I stand in solidarity with the family. They say, who feels it, knows it. And I know it. The visceral pain and trauma that you feel when these types of injustices happen is unexplainable and unhealable. When I was 11 years old, the police kicked in my house, came into the bedroom where we were sleeping, and shot my innocent mum, Cherry Gross, in front of me and my siblings. That sparked the 1985 Brixton uprisings. We don't call it riots.
That's right.
As a result of that, my mum was paralyzed because she was shot in the shoulder. The bullet hit her spine, came out through her hip, and fragments of the bullets were lodged in her spine forever. She passed in 2011, the same year when Mark Duggan was killed by police, and we had another uprising. The man who shot my mum, Douglas Lovelock, was totally acquitted, so there was no justice. When my mum passed in 2011, an inquest opened up into her death. And that was an opportunity for the family to try and seek the justice we didn't get while she was alive. But that came with its challenges. We were denied legal aid on 3 separate occasions. In the end, we had to do a petition. And we got over 130,000 people to sign that petition. We went to 10 Downing Street. And a week later, they overturned that decision, and we got access to the legal aid and legal representation that we deserved. As an outcome of that, the There was a verdict of multiple serious failings by the Metropolitan Police, which we knew, but this was the first time it was of public record. We received a public apology, but no accountability. So we had to fight another 2 years before the Met accepted accountability. We never got justice in a formal way. Nobody went to prison. It came in a form of restorative justice. Justice is about fairness. And if we were treated fairly back then, my mum wouldn't have died, and many of us wouldn't have died. That's all we ask for, is to be treated fairly. The people who died before us, unfortunately, to prevent them from dying, there was nothing we could do. But in their legacy, their death has to stand for something. Right, so we owe it to them. All those lives that have been sacrificed, we owe it to them to never give up. We have to continue to keep applying pressure, because as you've seen, it's the power of the people, right? Any change that you see doesn't come from the system, it doesn't come from within. We force them to change, and we have to continue to do that. And remember, people, together we rise. No justice, no justice, no racist. Solidarity, love to the family. We've got to be there to support them. It's a long journey. It took us 31 years to get that acknowledgement and a little bit of accountability. Let's make sure it doesn't take them that long.
No justice! No justice! No racist! Let's look at this system, yeah? We're here talking about England and Wales because that's our legal system. But just know, say, it's the whole of the United Kingdom. That includes Wales and it includes Scotland. So I would love to introduce a family member of Shaku Bayo who was killed by police in Scotland. Let's give it up.
First of all, I've got to give my condolences to the Kaba family and just say that we're, in love and support of you. So excuse my voice a bit. I just got laryngitis, but I had to be here. I had to fight some of those crazy crowds up there. I had to be here. To be here. People who were supporting us, supporting the family. But one thing I've got to say, when I see the words enough is enough, how many times do we have to see those damn words, enough is enough? It's more than enough is enough. This is we need change. We need change. That's what we need. So people went to see the exhibition at the ICA, War in Babylon, and one of the family members in one of those things says, it's like we belong to a club. Who wants to belong to a club like this? This is not a club that should exist. What we need is love and support, continued support. There's some really good fighters up there. You've heard Marcy, all the speakers up here are fighters. They're fighters. Support them. Ask them, what do you need from us to help you achieve what we need to achieve? What do you need us to help this change? A load of us had parents who came here. This is not what they expected for their families. This is not what they expected for their families. We've got to see this change because there has been no change. Don't tell me there's been no change from when our families came here. There's been no change. There's only change in type and kind. But the racism and everything is still there. So we need your love and support, please, whichever family you can support around the country, like the sister said. This is happening all over the country. And because they like to split the media up, people don't always know what's happening in Scotland. They don't want to let you know because they don't want us to unite and fight. And we know that it's uniting is what is going to make us win. The uniting and the fighting. So stay with us and fight. Thank you. So don't forget, please join us on the last Saturday of October, midday, Trafalgar Square. We want to see 3 times this amount. We want to see queues as long as there are up there, going all the way around.
Let's get this right. Every single year, these families have marched from Trafalgar Square to Downing Street. This has been happening for 2 decades. Unfortunately, I have never seen a crowd like this outside Downing Street for the UFFC march. And that's a damn shame. That's wrong. That's wrong. And just last week, we had to let it be known the way that hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets for George Floyd. And yes, international solidarity is incredibly important. It's so important. But where is everyone for the families of the people that are killed on our doorstep? There's not enough of us here today. There's not enough people here today. Let's not lie. You guys wouldn't be able to point to Minnesota on a map. I couldn't. I don't even know where that place is. But I know where Streatham is. That's why it's important that we're here. It's our doorstep, people. It's our country. Let's speak up. It's very important that we recognize the trauma. And it's something that we can't even put into words. It's not pain. Grief doesn't cut it. There's something that's deeper than that. And it's collective and it's shared and it's historical and it's intergenerational. And that's what's bringing us all here together today. So I would like to introduce a man that's working with the youth, that's working with black youth around their mental health. Because Lord knows, living in this system with this trauma inflicted by these people is very, very struggle. I can't even speak properly. It's a struggle, guys. It's a struggle. I'd like to introduce Sace from Mentivity. Please give it up.
My people, first of all, I'm a father. I have a 16-year-old at home. The work that I've been doing for the last 24 years is to protect our community and support our young black men in particular. And the trauma that's been impacted on us by the police, generationally. My grandparents came here as part of the Windrush generation. Under sus law, they were treated the same as our young people are being treated today. And the thing with state-sponsored oppression, people like Chris Kaba end up losing their lives. We're doing the work, we're trying to heal, we're trying to rehabilitate, but this trauma is a cycle of trauma, a cycle of death in our communities. And for me, for one, I'm here to stand up for Chris because that could have been any one of us on that night. There's a heaviness on my soul every time I lose a young person. That's a young man who lost his life, and he shouldn't have, because the police decide to do what they want, when they want, to our youth. They always dehumanize us through stop and search. I've been stopped and searched over 30 times since the age of 14. I've been assaulted by police officers 3 times since the age of 14. I had to go to court in my school uniform to answer to charges of assaulting an officer when I was assaulted. What does that tell you about the justice system? As a young person, there is no justice. There is just us, as people have said already. And we're here today in our droves, here for Chris and the family, here to support each other, here to heal from that trauma that's been imparted on us through state-sponsored killings and violence over generations. And it stops here. Like someone said before, it's a line in the sand. We cannot go back. This could be any one of our young people. And this is why we must stand up against state-sponsored oppression and killing of our young black men. And we must do the work. We must say his name every day, Chris Kaba. We must say his name every single day and fight until we get that justice. Because this cannot happen any longer. And I don't want this to happen to any more of our young black kings. My love goes out to the family. My love goes out to all of you here. Say his name. Chris. Say his name. Chris. Say his name. Chris. I'll never forget him. My love, people.
It's the same faces, the same people. Some of you might be at your first protest today. I want to say big you up. Last week I spoke to some young people and that was their first protest. We can all remember how we got organised. We can all remember the first time that we wanted to stand up. Mine was Mark Duggan. I was only 15 when Mark was killed. I didn't know exactly what happened, but I knew that it was wrong. I knew that it wasn't fair, and I knew in my spirit that there was injustice. That's me as a child. So every single person, if you're coming out today for the first time, enough love and respect to you. But no, it's a long journey, and I hope to see you again. Because we need to keep that collective energy. We need to mobilize. So someone that I see every time, someone that's always there, is this brother, Respect, who's been there. He was there for Duggan, he was there for Smiley Culture, he was there for others. And we need to keep mobilizing in the streets. So brother, let's hear from you.
Big up, big up. don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button.
I can't hear you. Say his name. Say his name. Family, yeah? Everyone that's here right now, yeah? I don't want to see your faces here on this camera and not see you here at the next protest. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Yeah, it's not a one show up, take a picture, take a selfie and then forget about the thing. That's not what this is, fam. That's not what this is, fam. Yeah? Firstly, I want to hail up Chris Kaba's man them, but they've been on the front line for their brother. Yeah? They've been on the front line for their brother. That's what we need. We need the strength. We need to know, say that this thing ain't going to end here, fam. For Chris Kaba, Smiley Culture, Mark Duggan, Edson, Ration, and the list goes on. We're not having it anymore, but I'm not here to do a whole heap of chatting. I'm just talking about actions. One action, yeah? One action, police to police global. Police to police global. What does that do? Who polices the police? We police the police. Who polices the police?
We police the police.
Who are the murderers?
The police are the murderers.
Who polices the police?
We police the police.
So Police to Police Global is a database. Yeah, anytime a police stop and searches a youth, we document their face, their badge number, their details, and it all goes in the same database. So the same way they profile us, we start profiling them. Every child, we need to, education, every child needs to know to ask the police, what are the reasonable grounds for stopping me? Yeah? Reasonable grounds is they have to see, smell, touch or hear something that directly links you to a crime. Otherwise, it's prejudice. Yeah? So anytime a police officer stopped you and said, there's been robberies in the area, that's an illegal stop and search. Anytime they said you're wearing a hoodie, that's an illegal stop and search. They have to see, smell, touch or hear something that directly links you to a crime. Once we're documenting them and asking them questions, that will make the police back off. That's one solution. Yeah? A lot of people want to talk about, man was a part of a gang, this, that, this, that. It's them that put us in the estates for the poverty. Yeah? It's them that sets it up so when we fight against each other. Yeah? It's them that sees us. Yeah? How is man living in Hackney in poverty, but next door you got Old Street and they're driving Ferraris and they think the man them ain't gonna want to eat food? You think we're not gonna want to, when we see our mum struggle day in, day out? Yeah? And then they tell us to follow them in that thing. So what we try to do is we try to eat. We try to come back and provide for our families. Chris Kaba was a father. He was a father. Yeah? So this is what I'm saying. This ain't a one protest thing. So when we're talking about, they want to talk about the gangs and all of this thing. Every single one of us here, yeah? Anytime a youth dies, no matter how they die, do we hurt? Do we hurt? And I want to ask the man them, do you want to see our children continue that struggle? Do you want to see our children killing each other? None of us don't want that, but never try to use that as a reason to try and dissuade from what these police have done to Chris Kaba. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. So what I want everyone to do, if we're going to raise up our youths, and we're going to raise up our youths better and guide our youths better, when I say guiding, I want you to say a new generation. We're guiding. We're guiding. Guiding a new generation spells gang, yeah? And the gangs need to unite against the real enemy, the real ops, and cops are the ops. So when I say gang unite, I want you to say gang unite! Gang unite! Gang unite! Gang unite! Gang unite! Gang unite! Cops are the ops! Gang unite! Gang unite! Cops are the ops! Cops are the opposition. They're the opposition to us getting off the roads. They're the opposition to us walking down the road and feeling safe. They're the opposition because they feed themselves off of the poverty and violence that they have created for us. Yeah? They fund themselves off of the poverty and violence they have created for us. No more! Let me hear you say no more! No more! Enough is enough! Enough is enough! So Police to Police Global, Gang Unite, Guiding the New Generation. The last thing I'm going to tell you about is another action, Forever Family. Yeah? Forever! Family. Why are we here? Why are we here for Chris Kaba? The people that didn't know Chris Kaba, the people that never met Chris Kaba. Why are you here? Because we know that in our hearts, he's our family. Yeah? So why are we? We're forever? Family. Forever? Family. We're forever family. We're forever family. Here to set the people free. Here to set the people free. And I don't know what you've been told. I don't know what you've been told.
But families taking back these roads. Our children will be protected. Our elders will be respected. It's all for one and one for all. If you touch one, then you touch all. So stand up, rise up, stand up, rise up, come on forever. And the last thing I want to say, family, is today we're doing close body protection for Chris Kaba's family. Yeah? So we got close body protection, we got people in uniform and out of uniform looking over the family. Every single one of these people has been training for the last 2 years. Training in self-defense, training in first aid, training in conflict resolution, training. When there's no passer, when there's no cameras, when there's no hype, when there's no selfie. Every week we're training to be able to protect our communities. So this is the action. So all the man them listening, yeah? I want the man them to reach out because we need to train together. Right now we got 10 to 20 people here in the crowds. Next time we need to have 50. The next time we need to have 100. The next time we need to have 1,000. And when the police see thousands of us ride up, uniformed up, trained up, they're going to fall back. One more time, say his name! Say his name! Say his name! Peace.
Listen, we've been speaking about a lot of the young brothers and the men that we've lost their lives to this system. But it's not just boys and it's not just men. There are women. We just heard from Cherry Gross's son. That's a lifelong being paralyzed and life being cut short and the life that she was able to live being hampered, tarnished by what these people did to her. But there's more. There's more. So in Tottenham, there was another woman, another mother, and we don't hear about her that often, but there was also an uprising and it was directly connected. So I want you to know about Cynthia Jarrett. Yeah, she was harmed in the 80s. In the 80s, Cynthia Jarrett. But when we're here, we're not speaking and screaming her name. I'd like to introduce one of her family members, Floyd, to come and speak about his mum.
Thank you. Now, before there was George Floyd, there was Floyd Jarrett, which is me. I was 24 years of age. I was driving to see my mum when I was stopped by police. I had committed no crime. They searched me. I had nothing, no knife, no Rizzler, no cigarette, no gun, no warrant. They arrested me under the false imputation that I was driving a stolen car which I'd owned for 3 years. I was taken to Tottenham police station and processed, and at the end of it I was told that my mother had passed. I was charged for assaulting 2 police. Well, I make them know this. I am the first Floyd Jarrett and there's going to be many more after me. I am the flicker to the flame. I am the one that came and changed this. I made them know this. It's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and we want justice. If we don't get no justice, we will let it burn. I represent Joyce Gardner. I represent Roger Sylvester. I represent Mark Duggan. We are the first set. We make them know this. Anytime that you're going to take the life of any of our children, our mothers, we will come out, we will protest, and we will get justice. I am here, I've suffered 37 years. I've seen family after family after family making the same cry. Well, I am here to tell Chris Kaba's family this. Do not give up the fight. We are here with you. In the spirit and in the flesh and all those that came before you. We are here to stand with you to tell them enough is enough. We want justice, and if we don't get no justice, there will be no peace. Honor and respect to the Kaba family.
No justice! No justice! You're getting tired, people. I said no We're reaching the end. We've got a few more speakers, but it's really, really important. We're just trying to connect all the dots of this Babylon system and all the ways it harms and traumatizes and brutalizes our people. We've heard a lot about police brutality, which makes it sound like it's abnormal. But what we need to understand is not police brutality. The police violence is inherent within that system. It's embedded. It's not abnormal. It is what it is. No justice! No justice! Next up, we would like
Don't
to
forget to
introduce
hit
Mel.
that subscribe button. So hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button.
Constantly doing some great work in the community. He's done so much. So I want you to give so much love to Mels.
Blessings, everyone. I can't believe we're here again. I've been up and down this country to so many different cities, hearing from families year after year about the pain, about the madness that this state puts them through. Being here again, just, bruh, honestly, until we literally abolish the system of the police, because like Temi just said, the police as an institution are here to oppress. They rely on an underclass, and we are the people that end up being an underclass. I went to school with Chris's cousin Jefferson, one of the most incredible young people, the person that's been leading this campaign on the family side. Can we give a round of applause to Jefferson? But literally, in that school, I know more people that have been incarcerated than I know that have been to quote-unquote good universities. And so I tried to go to a good university. I'm a researcher at Cambridge now. But does that make me somebody that's not gonna face the harshest side of the state? Out of context, I'm just another black man. I'm just another black man. It doesn't matter whether I'm in a gang. It doesn't matter whether I'm in Cambridge. It doesn't matter where the fuck I am. These people are going to continue oppressing our people. They're going to continue harming our people, our communities. And it's on us, it's on each and every one of us to continue standing up, to continue coming every day, to continue supporting the family of Chris Kaba, to continue supporting every single family that has lost a person to police and state brutality, because it literally could have been any of us. And like Marcia said, and like a few other people have said, UFFC, the 31st of October, everybody let's stand up. 29th of October, my bad. So let me not confuse you lot, innit? Say that one more time. 29th, we're going to stand up, we're going to show up, we're going to stand shoulder to shoulder in solidarity for every single person that has lost their family to police and state brutality. And one more time, justice for Chris! Justice for Chris! Justice for Chris! Blessings.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like StreetMic live stream. So hit the subscribe button.
We all are just getting a little taste of who Chris is. We all are feeling the pain. But there were loads of people that called him friend, that called him brother, that called him fiancé, that called him son. As much as we can feel this empathy and this collective trauma, I can only imagine what his boys are feeling. They might not be able to put that in words all the time, but I want you to imagine, I remember speaking to his fiancée, and she saying to me, Chris always has a way of always looking at the upside of things. Even when he's going through something, he will be offering to help others in that circumstance. I remember Mum also saying, he used to call me sweet mother. And I remember me just sitting there and thinking about that Nigerian, I'm Nigerian, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna forget you. This is for you, Mum. For this suffer when you suffer for me. Sweet mother, I'm not gonna forget you. No mother. She tried to remember what her child says to her. What we're doing right now, we're hearing Lawrence Lee talk about seeing his mum, and I'm thinking about my son being 10, and I'm imagining him witnessing what you witnessed and seeing the tears of a grown man's strong. Tears are strong. Your tears are strong. Don't bottle it up. Let it out. Because for me, all I saw was strength. To hear that there's a lot of trauma, I know I'm keep going on about it. But it's okay not to be okay. Because this shit ain't okay. It's not normal. But for us, it's becoming normal. It's not normal. And when we're claiming that word, enough is enough, allow it, yeah? Because we started that. I'm not even going to say that. We started that. Enough is enough of this. So we need to be able to just put a line on it. And we need to turn up in our numbers. I'm going to invite someone who grounds everything that motherhood is, who brings that nurturing spirit into the conversation, who actually took that moment last week to stand with the mothers, with the aunties, and comforted them, who was able to give sometimes when there's nothing left to give. You know about these people. You've heard about Sister Space. How many people have heard about Sister Space? How many people know what that is? So, but that's the also thing, is creating the space for us to also grieve. I want you to give the biggest love, the biggest adoration to our final speaker, who is going to bring it together for us. Auntie, I don't know if you talk too much. Maybe just call him Auntie Ngozi. Show some love!
Family. First, let me say one thing. Nobody lost their life. They didn't put it down in a chair and can't find it. Their life was stolen. Let's get that right. Let's get the narrative right. Yes? Nobody lost their life. Their life was stolen. Are we in agreement? Thank you very much. Right. I embrace my family on right here because you young people are leading the way and you need to take a breath and we have you. Yes? Family. Mandem! Where's the Mandem? Mandem! Mandem!
Yeah, my dad there.
Let me tell you. Aunties love you. We love you and we are proud of you. You don't hear it enough. You don't hear it from us. And for that we apologize. We love you. You see, when I look around and I see the Mandem, the kingdom, I don't fear that system. But I will say this. You touch one. You touch all. You touch one, you touch all. Let me make that clear. Let me make that clear. Yes? The family know that it's nothing but love and we are here. We make this pledge at Sister Space to the mother-to-be. Anything you need, anything at all, we will provide it. Everything. Yes? Community, you need to come behind Sister Space because we're holding up a big weight now. You see, those who think, well, we deal with sisters. Let me tell you something. Yes, we do usually deal with those affected by domestic and sexual abuse. Do you think that we don't support the Mandem? That's the Western thing. That is not the African thing. So we support the brothers. Don't get it twisted. Yes? Nothing but love. Anytime I might say to you, listen, drag the trousers too low. You're wearing them down better. Yeah? But that's what aunties do. You see? We love you. The higher you build your barrier, the taller I become. Let's sing that song. The more you refuse to hear my voice.
Come on, guys.
The louder I will sing. You can deny me. You can decide to take my rights away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. You hide behind walls of Jericho. Your lies will come tumbling. Deny my place in time. You squander wealth that's mine. My light will shine so brightly it will blind you. Yeah? No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, and though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough. When we know better, we look them in the eyes and say, we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. Something inside so strong. Oh, we're stronger than them. You know that I can make it, and though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that our pride had gone. Oh no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. One blessed Lord.
Yes, people, give it up for Sister Space. All right, we've reached the end. Thank you so much for your attention, for your energy, for your presence, for showing up.
Thank you, everyone. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like StreetMic. Make sure you share and follow. So hit the subscribe button.
But it's those of us that put in the work each day and organize and mobilize. That's what creates the change. So that we're ready when situations like this happen, so we're ready to respond. But that response needs more energy. It needs more people. And I can see you here. I can see that you care. And I know a lot of people care, but I know a lot of people don't know exactly what to do or how they can help. The way that you can help is also by showing up today. Support this family. Support Chris Kaba's family with their specific demands. That's one family campaign. That's what you can do. But there are more than 1,800 other families. They've got also demands. They've got cases that need support. They also need your energy. I'm aware that only a couple of months ago, Oladeji, he was tasered and he fell into the river and he died, and no one's talking about that. And I've heard that his family needs to feel that same support that we're showing right now, because that was only 3 months difference. Yeah? So that's important. Don't forget. There's time for screaming and shouting. We've done that. Right now, just keeping that same calm energy. But let's get organized. Let's strategize.
There's a lot of movement building that needs to occur, and there's a role that every single one of you can play. The role might not be standing on the front line. The role might not be working in the community directly with the youth. That role is not for everyone. But there are other roles that you can play. So if you are looking for something that you can do after today, there are many, many things, and we need that collective energy. So they're supporting Chris Kaba's family campaign. They're supporting all of the other family campaigns. They're coming in 1 month's time to Trafalgar Square at 12 p.m. on the 29th of October to support the UFFC. That's the collection of families. That's the collective. And in between that, there's youth organizations. You heard from Mentivity, they were here today. Forever Family's been here today, sharing some actions you can take. I represent Forefront, another organization that's supporting the young people most impacted by police violence and racial injustice day to day. This killing people is the tip of the iceberg, the day-to-day violence that police enact on young black people in particular in the community. We need more energy and resource and support to bolster up that effort. And I know you can do it. I know we can do it. So let's keep that hope. Let's keep that same energy. And let them know. New commissioner, new prime minister, new king, whatever it is, new. But this same system is very old, it's very nuanced, it's very organized. So we need to meet it with its same level of organization and strategy. That's what I want to see, people. The next time we call you out, I want to see you all here, but call out for the parts that happen in between. There's not going to be the media attention. It won't be televised. So just know, much love and respect to every single one that came out. Let's end with a small chant.
When I say black lives, you say matter. Black lives. Black lives. When I say black lives, you say matter. Black lives. Black lives. When I say Chris, you say matter. Chris. Matter. Chris. Matter. When I say Chris, you say matter. Chris. Matter. Chris. Matter. You matter. I want you to go in peace. I want you to be able to be supportive to each other. Fist up. I'm about to do something I wasn't planning to do. I'm grounding this. I'm praying that you have a productive week. I pray your mind gets healed. I ask the ancestors to help you move through this. I pray that you have faith and hope in a room that you never know. You are fine. You are blessed and highly favored. Go safe. Thank you so much. So please, let's not litter. Let's make sure some of the placards, if you can just keep them on the side, and Waynham is going to just give you.
I just want to say I'm the chief steward, and this is one of the best demonstrations I've ever been on in terms of resistance. But I have to say, brothers and sisters, what I'd like you to do is, if you've got placards, want to take them home, please take them home and put them in your window. That's fine. If you're not, please put them at the corner all in a row. You know why? Because we're going to have to come out and demonstrate again. If you've got steward bibs,
big up.
If you've got on the 29th,
so the protest is now coming to an end. There is another one on the 29th, and my name is Wendell Daniel from StreetMic, and we are coming to you live and direct from the streets of London. And this is the second time we've been down here. In a few moments we are going to be doing some interviews with some of the speakers down here today, but don't forget to share the YouTube link with 20 of your family and friends and ask them to subscribe, and make sure, if you are not following StreetMic, to hit the subscribe button. And thank you very much. We are going to engage now with some of the main speakers down here, but we do hope you like what you've been seeing. My name is Wendell Daniel from StreetMic. So big up, 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 big up. This is a movement that's starting, and you know, I know all of these main players down here, and we will be following what they are doing. And let's have a quick chat.
the front. Anybody wants to volunteer, come to the front and we'll give you a job to do.
So I'm going to try and have a quick chat with Mavina.
Where's the sister? Don't forget your bag out. Where's the sister? Come with her back on. Where's she going with the
Mavina, let's do a quickie, darling. Let me put your microphone. From StreetMic, so thank you very much for giving me this chance to interview you. This is the second week you're down here yet again. How you feeling, girl?
You know what? Emotionally drained, but I'm really energized by the people that have come today. I can see the faces of hope. I can see the faces of the youths. I can see the faces of the family, and that's enough for me to see, to create change. I can see the man them doing their thing, supporting, looking fabulous as usual. They're going through a lot of grief. I think this week has been hard for me just because I've seen the pain that a lot of boys and men are going through. And it's obviously, it breaks your heart to know that they're suffering in this toxic environment, and we just want to help them and heal them.
Last week when we were down at Westminster Square, we saw the grief from the family, but within 7 days there appears to have been movement from the police in lots of different things happening. So are you happy so far with the actions of the police in, number one, suspending the officers, number two, making the CCTV available, and there's also a criminal investigation. So things are beginning to move. Is that good?
Happiness is something that there will never be justice because Chris will never be here.
He's gone. Yeah.
He's gone. All we can get is hold whoever is accountable to face justice. Something that... Sorry, just hold on. I don't know. Sorry, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, thank you. Auntie, hold on. Sorry. Auntie, hold on. Thank you.
You need anything?
What's going on now? I'm just a little bit worried because people are not dispersing. People are not dispersing.
I'm now turning it off. So I know the person drumming, I believe Mavina doesn't want that person to be drumming. So let's wait and see if things change. Good afternoon, my dear. Wendell Daniel from StreetMic. So since last week, there seems to have been movement in the actions of the police. Are you happy that things are slowly moving forward?
I think what we see is that public pressure that really does make an impact and a difference. So there's a lot of people that have mobilized, supporting the family's key demands, and we see some movement happening around that. So that's, I don't want to say it's a good sign, it's necessary. It should happen. It shouldn't be abnormal for them to do that. It shouldn't take so long. This is an important thing. It shouldn't take over a week for the officer to be suspended. That should have happened immediately. We shouldn't still having to be demanding that he's, interviewed under caution. That should have just happened anyway. So you're having to fight for basic things that should just be a matter of process and protocol, but they're not. So I think it's important we're here today, not just thinking about Chris Kaba, but there's been a lot of solidarity with other families impacted by police violence and state violence. They were here speaking today. We were reminded, all of us, to join the UFFC march, the annual march in Trafalgar Square on the 29th of October. And it's really important that everyone comes together so that we can fight for the wider demands that impact all families, not just one. And I think that's really important.
What has it been like for persons like yourself to be involved and moving things forward so rapidly in 7 days in regards to planning, organising? There's now a national protest. How difficult was that for you and others behind the scene?
Yeah, everyone organising behind the scenes. It's been a challenge. There were more than 13 demonstrations happening today across different parts of the country. For that to be called and to come together in less than a week is just incredible. But it shows the scale of public support, not just for Chris Kaba, but for all the families impacted by police and state violence.
Do you sense, final question, do you sense with a change in the leader of the government, a change in the so-called king, a change in the people behind this office, behind us, do you sense that they are beginning to listen to what the public is saying about these killings?
No, we have a new commissioner, new prime minister, new king, same old system. That's it.
Excellent. As normal, thank you very much. And on the 29th, just tell us a bit more about the 29th and what's happening.
The campaign is a collection of all of the families that have been impacted by state violence and police violence, and they assemble every single year, the last Saturday of the month. They march from Trafalgar Square to Downing Street, and it's really important that we keep that same energy, that same solidarity, that same scale of support for those families on that annual procession. So yeah, I'd like to see everyone there.
Excellent. Thank you very much as normal. Big up from StreetMic. So, you know, we are out here with a number of protesters, and what I am going to be doing now, I'm going to do my best to try and engage with many of those people who spoke down here. And fortunately, I know many of them, and I will do my best to engage with Floyd, with the family of Cynthia Jarrett, with many others, and I'm also going to try and finish with Mavina. But I'm going to lift the camera up, but we're going to be live streaming hopefully for another hour or so. And in the background there are drummers. So what we are going to try to do, and we're going to engage with people from Sister Space as well. So did you want me?
Yeah, no, I wanted to speak.
Oh, did you? Yeah, you're feisty, didn't you? So let's start from the beginning. Good afternoon, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Lucy, I'm from Hackney. I was recorded by you outside of Hackney, Stoke Newington.
Was I?
Yeah, like you captured that event that night, and obviously there was a lot of rage about Child Q. So, you know, like this is like a terrible incident that's happened, but it is part of a much bigger picture, and it just feels like, you know, like the whole concept of institutional racism and the death that we face at the hands of the state apparatus and institutions, you know, whether it's like a gunshot or whether it's the outcomes of your life that you are dying of starvation in disgusting conditions. Like it's time that this is actually addressed. And I'm just concerned because, you know, like in one political party we've got people who are willing to kind of like pretend like it's not happening and lead the charge of anti-woke, which is part of, you know, like that refusal and denial of accepting Britain, how Britain became great, and that, you know, like kind of pitting the white working class against black people when it's always been the struggle, like the same struggle against exploitation, you know, and working life that was built off of the slavery, you know, and this time later, like to see that one Elizabeth, the second Elizabeth has passed. Like, this is the time for reparations. This is the time for dealing with institutional racism. It is the International Decade for People of African Descent. And whatever went down, there are too many unanswered questions that need to be answered. So what I would say is political parties, you need to take this element seriously, because right now it's like you are failing us and it's a travesty. So I appreciate having a moment to speak.
Excellent. As normal, thank you very much, and I look forward to engaging with you in the future.
A more comprehensive voice politically from allies. You shouldn't be afraid to speak up for equality and human rights across the board. Afrophobia is a scourge of centuries. You know, 1823, Demerara, Guyana, uprising. We should have been free. We had to fight for our freedom. So, like, it's still the same freedom we're demanding. Same brutality of the same system. So understand that is where people's rage comes from.
Thank you very much. I'm just taking a photograph, because I want one of these stronger ones. I love this, it's strong and light. I want something stronger as well.
Yeah, it's really easy to like collapse as well.
What's that, about 8, 9 grand?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. Yeah.
No, I like that one. That's the one I want.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
No, no worries.
How tall is your step? How tall is your step? Because mine is at your side. How tall? Where did you get it from?
Amazon.
Oh, let me try to tag.
Only about 10 quid.
Well, mine was 6.
Like, where's your leader today?
I don't know.
Text box. Where's your leader today?
My leader got pissed off.
Steve, did you send that picture to him?
Not yet, because he got fucked up with me. I don't know. He just had to go with me.
I'm just going to do some more interviews.
It was great.
Huh?
It was great. It's amazing. What's the name of the goddess with the long hair? The lady. What's her name?
Mavina. Sorry.
I haven't myself, no. Support like students who are working. What's the living system? What about some of the details?
Venus with me. Yeah, she's there. Even if you do the short one.
Victor, can you step back just 1 minute? Go on, sis, yeah? Get ready. Victor, where's Victor? Victor.
coming for to carry me home. All my friends are coming home soon. Coming for to carry me home. Sweet chariot.
Yes, sweet, yes, sweet. Sweet mother, I no go forget you. For this suffer when you suffer for me. Sweet mother, I no go forget you. For this suffer when you suffer for me. When I no chop, my mother no go chop. When I no see, my mother no go see.
Good afternoon, Wendell Daniel. Hello, my darling, Wendell Daniel from StreetMic. I never know you could sing like a bird.
It's not about singing, you know, it's about spirit, you know. When spirit takes you, when grief overwhelms you, when trauma, then what the sound you make is the sound you make.
And tell me something, I see you on the streets on a regular basis, and how...
That sounds quite bad.
No, in a good way.
Yeah, sure.
But having to constantly come along to these events, how does it make you feel?
I don't have to, I choose to, because I really do believe you touch one, you touch all, you know? And if you touch one of my children, my brothers, my sisters, my daughters, then you have touched me, and you will be accountable to all of us.
I hear you. Thank you very much as normal. I want to speak to someone behind you. Come here, you. Big up. You can't hide in the background if you stand there.
How are you?
Listen, I haven't seen you for a couple of years.
2 years, maybe a year and a bit. Maybe.
Soon after George Floyd died, yeah, you guys were the main leaders in London for Black Lives Matter. And yeah, I'm going to ask you questions now. Yeah, you had ABO UK. I used to flip. I know, but what's happened?
So ABL UK, we took a little break, took some time to build back, focus on our mental health, and we realised that mental health was like one of the biggest things that we don't actually look at upon as a black community. Something that gets overlooked, especially considering we have things like this where Chris Kaba's family, they're not being supported, they're not being given therapy, they're not being given anything. So what we wanted to do is kind of start up an initiative where we look and help people, you know, get over trauma, get over everything they've gone through, offering black people therapy where we can, healing where we can, growth where we can. So that's what ABL UK is doing. I've been taking a little break myself. getting right, you know. My little sister passed away, so just been taking a little time to myself. But now we're back and we're doing a lot of work, behind the scenes.
I've got a question to ask you. Just like with Chris Kaba's family, a major event happens, they're thrown into the limelight, and then suddenly the world is watching what they're doing. It happened the same with you guys, with Black Lives Matter after George Floyd, true or not?
No, it's very true, very true. And the worst part about it is, you're just sat there, you've got all this media attention, you've got all of these people looking at you, constantly watching your every move, and no one knows how damaging it is to you, to your health, to how you feel, and to how you view yourself. Like, no one understands the gravity of these kind of situations, and I just pray that this family can have as much healing and much growth in this process as possible. However they get justice in any way that they can, and in any way that ABL UK can support them, we will. Because it's tough and it's horrible, and I can't imagine the pain that these guys are going through right now. I can't. But I'm so happy that the community is holding them up and looking after them and upholding them. I'm so happy for them.
But say hello to the guys and the girls at ABL UK, because I'll never forget, I was walking down the streets with you guys once.
You were always walking down the streets with us.
No, but I said to myself, I would love to live stream. And now that's what I do as I go.
I like that. And I was looking at your camera, I was like,
I'm live.
No upgrades here, or 4K camera, I like this.
But you know something, since then I formed a business, you know, listen, things are going well.
I'm very happy, and I need to make sure I contact you.
I gave you my number, you probably flung it away.
I've still got your number.
Ring me and we can link up.
Definitely.
I've still got all that footage.
You do?
I don't get rid of footage, it's historical.
Okay.
I understand the importance of archives. Big up.
Big up yourself.
Thanks a lot, man.
Big up StreetMic.
Family, innit? Family.
I want to talk to him, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's like...
Yeah. Let me try and talk to this guy. His mum got shot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll chat with you online. Let me just... So I'm now going to interview this gentleman. So good afternoon, sir. If you look into the camera, can you just remind Wendell Daniel from StreetMic of what is your name?
My name's Lee Lawrence and I'm the son of Cherry Gross.
So thank you very much for coming here, and just tell me a little bit more about your mum and what the last, was it 20, 25 years has been like for you since that major incident which caused big problems in London after your, you know, tell the people what happened to your mum. Just talk and I'll hold it.
Okay. So my mum, it was the 28th of September 1985, 7 a.m. in the morning. We was asleep in my mum's room. Yeah, 38 years ago. And I heard a noise. Right? I saw my mum walking towards the door. And I thought, whatever it was, mum's taking care of it. And I laid back down. I was 11 at the time. And then I heard another noise. This time it was a loud bang noise. I jumped up and I just saw my mum on the floor. And a policeman holding a gun, pointing at her. And all I could hear her say is, I can't breathe, I can't feel my legs, and I think I'm gonna die. And hearing that just freaked me out. I just started screaming and shouting and looking at this man saying, what have you done to my mum? What have you done to my mum? And then the man points his gun towards me and says, someone better shut this fucking kid up. And it was only in that moment that I realized that this was the police. And I was shocked, because as far as I was concerned, these are the guys that are supposed to be the good guys, protecting us, whatever. And I've seen them do this to my innocent mum. and there was no kind of remorse in the media aftermath after. It was that incident that sparked the 1985 Brixton.
Can I just ask you, what exactly, if you don't mind me asking, did they do?
So they kicked in the door and they shot my mum as soon as she opened, because she was walking towards the door, and as she was walking towards the door, they kicked in the door and they just basically shot the first person they saw, which was my mum. As a result of that, she was paralysed, never to walk again, had the fragments of the bullet lodged in her spine, and again, essentially, that's what sparked the 1985 Brixton uprisings.
And after the riots were sparked in Brixton, what effect did that have on persons like yourself and your family going forward?
Well, the trauma of that. We didn't get any therapy. 2 weeks later, I was back at school, and we were just left as a family to just try and pick up the pieces. It shattered my family, and it shattered the whole community. And it was something that, we've never really fully healed from.
And 38 years later, you're hearing about what has happened down in Stretton Hill with Chris Kaba. Can you see similarities in the behaviours and the conduct of the Metropolitan Police and also the institution they represent in hiding or not freely giving out information?
So first of all, I just want to say condolences to the Chris Kaba family, and because I know what it feels like, and all it does is resurrect the trauma and bring up the past pain. And when I see how, so there's the initial reaction to what's happened, how many years later you're still seeing things like this, which is, it's hurtful. And then you got how then the police respond to that, which is very similar to how they dealt with us, 38 years ago. So therefore, you see the similarities in terms of the straight away, they go into this kind of protection mode. They don't give out much information, and then we as a community respond in the same way, because that builds up frustration, that builds up anger, and then that needs to be vented, and that's why we end up coming out and protesting in the same way that we are today. It's not much different really in terms of what happens and then the response to what happens. The difference is, if you was to ask me if there was any difference at all, is the timing in which they have responded so far. And it goes to show that when we do come together collectively and we make sure that our collective voices are heard, then that's the impact that can have. And that's why it's so important that we stick together and we stand united in these moments.
Can you feel this protest and what's happening with Chris Kaba is slightly different to years ago due to social media and how quickly people can mobilise, form protests and come together to, I'm not criticising what's happened in the past, but because of social media, things can get done, and it's suddenly become easier to hold the police to account. Are you sensing there's something different going on now?
Yeah, I'm sensing the urgency. I'm sensing the way that we mobilise ourselves very quickly, and the difference is back then, we, as a community, our community was dense. We lived in Brixton, and most of us were just living very close by. So when these things happened, it was a Chinese whisper, and that's what vibrated for the community, and people were able to come together. Where today, it's social media, and you're getting that information direct to your phone, which can create a different response very quickly. And and I think it's a good thing that we're able to look at social media and use it for good, because we have to admit social media is not always a good thing.
Yeah, let's agree.
Right? But there are times when it can be useful, and it's times like this.
And finally, what was it like when you heard Floyd Jarrett speaking so passionately earlier on? Because I see Floyd regular, we live within streets of each other, but it's the first time I've heard him speak about what's happened to his mum. What's it like for you hearing he's gone through something, you've gone through something, this family's gone through something, and what's that like, hearing it keeps happening and happening and happening?
So firstly, right, it's quite rare and quite a unique experience where you find mothers were getting killed by the police. So in the 80s, that's what, and they were very close together. What happened to my mum, what happened to Cynthia, were very close together. So, and I got to meet Floyd later on down in life, probably about 5 years ago, we connected, right? And it was good to hear him come and speak. And I think it's important for us to speak, to show that there is a historical context to this, and that we can lend some of that experience and that wisdom to the campaigns of today.
As normal, sir, thank you very much. Wendell Daniel from StreetMic. I'm a live streamer. If you ever need any help and assistance to live stream things, contact me. Everyone has my details. I'm everywhere.
Thank you. And remember, together we rise, yeah? Together.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So in a moment, we hope to... Where's Mavina? She's got my microphone. Big up. So good afternoon all. Good afternoon all. Let me switch on the... I'm now going to try and speak to the MP. I'm independent. Mavina knows me. She's been wearing my microphone. No, sir. No, Mavina, am I good to talk to? Yeah. Look at her face. I'm live streaming. I'm independent, if that's good. Yeah. So we're now going to speak to the MP. Can I just put a microphone in here just to get a good sound? StreetMic, and I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to have a quick chat with you. Can I just start you for those watching? What's your name?
My name is Belle Ribeiro Addy. I'm the Member of Parliament for Streatham.
So tell me, I believe the incident involving Chris happened in your constituency.
Yes, it did. And Chris is someone who grew up in my area.
So did you know Chris yourself personally?
No, I didn't, but I know a lot of people who did know him.
Yeah. So after the incident, what has it been? How has this incident affected your constituents and people from the local community?
Well, I think definitely amongst the young black men, a lot of whom know Chris quite well. There's been a lot of trauma. I think what people don't understand is when something like this happens, especially when it's something that happens recurrently to the black community, they'll think it could have been me. Their family thinks it could have been my family members. So people need to understand that it creates a collective kind of trauma. And obviously everyone's quite shocked to see a man killed in this way.
And in your opinion, will these people in this building behind us, the new commissioner, the police, the Home Secretary, and those accountable, are they listening to what is happening on the streets of London today?
Well, I think because of the way the family has behaved and the campaign has behaved, they had no choice but to listen. There are many people that would have seen these incidents gone by in the past, and they've never, in my experience, acted so quickly to put certain things right. And whilst it may be too slow for those family members that want justice, they need to realise that in terms of progress, and it's because of the dignified way in which the family have conducted themselves, and I think that's so important.
One thing I'm really surprised is I've been doing this for years, and I see how long it takes, but I'm really shocked how quickly it has all come together within the space of 8-9 days. Second meeting, I was at just down by Westminster Square last week when the first protest. I saw the grief, but I'm really amazed of how quickly people are coming together. But is that down to social media and how quickly we can get information out there to mobilise people?
I think so. Social media has made a massive difference to definitely what would have happened in the past. But also, you know, I think those campaigners, those key people that are surrounded by even us politicians, we've learnt lessons from what's happened. So the authorities need to start learning lessons from what's happened.
So final question, as an MP, what can you be doing in that house to actually make sure that the issues here are raised over there so the people in power are listening?
Well, speaking up about them as much as possible, speaking up about them as much as possible in the mainstream media. One thing that I noticed right at the beginning is people really disgraceful about Chris, talking about him being a drill artist, talking about being a rapper, saying he would have been in prison before. And I thought to myself, does that justify what happened to him? It's absolutely wrong. So making that clear distinction, but also looking at some of the laws. Apparently the reason why they couldn't suspend the officer immediately was due to law. I'm a lawmaker, and that's something that I'd like to change, because in no other profession where what you've done has led to the death of someone, would you be allowed to keep working?
Definitely final question. You don't have to answer it. We've got a new king, we've got a new leader over here, and we've got a new prime minister. Just imagine all three are watching StreetMic today. What do you want to say to all of them?
That institutional racism absolutely has to end. There is no way that this country can continue in the way in which it has.
That's normal. Thank you very much. And I look forward to speaking to you in the future. Thanks a lot, yeah. That was nice and easy, wasn't it?
It was.
Thanks a lot, yeah.
It's alright, it's just that there was someone before me.
Yeah. But you're good, yeah. Thanks a lot, yeah. So as you can see, Wendell Daniel from StreetMic will speak to everyone. We're even speaking just now to a Member of Parliament. So we are going to be locking down soon. We are going to be closing down very soon, but my name is Wendell Daniel from StreetMic, and let me move around. And behind us we've got drumming that is taking place, and we are going to be listening to them guys in a few moments. But what I want you guys to all do, you going?
Going a bit, yeah. Just popping back maybe.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm going in a minute. I'm just summarising, and I'm out of here. I've got other things to do.
I've been saying, you know, the big fishes are starting to come over to Downing Street, like Biden and Macron are coming over.
Yeah, I ain't got time for all of that, man. I've got other things to do. Yeah? But for all of you watching, thank you very much. It has been an amazing day. Oh, you're trying to break my camera.
Let's fire it.
Yeah.
What an amazing day, man. Amazing women.
Yeah.
Amazing goddesses, I call them.
Yeah, that's all right, that's all right. So I can now see a lot better. So good afternoon to all of you watching. My name is Wendell Daniel, and welcome to StreetMic, and we are coming to you live and direct from outside of New Scotland Yard here in central London, and we are currently at the second protest in support of Chris Kaba, and the first one took place down here last Saturday, and there were thousands and thousands of people on the streets of London. Chris's family was here. We also had many other people who came down to support the Chris Kaba protest. And what was really amazing for me is that only a few days after Chris was shot, the campaign had come together and they were able to mobilize tens of thousands of people on the streets. And even though we know that just down the road there is a young lady, the Queen, who is laying in state, the protest here is still taking place. But today we have heard some passionate testimonies from daughters, from sons whose mums had been killed by the police in years gone by, and they are still feeling the hurt and the pain of such a tragedy. And what we do hope will be happening going forward is that Mark Rowley, the new commissioner, we've also got a new Prime Minister and a new King Charles. We hope that all of these leaders of this country will now be taking notice of what the people are saying. They are not happy with what's happened in regards to Chris, and they want a proper investigation. They want criminal charges brought, and they want to see justice happen. Fair enough, they have to go through a long, fair process, I accept that. But just like I've just spoken with the MP, there is something different happening at the moment, because as a direct result of social media, you can now get the information out there rapidly, and you can get senior officers, probably the new commissioner, given the instruction to ensure that his officer is suspended from duty, and that was one of the demands that was requested by the family last week. They also asked for CCTV of the incident, so they have seen CCTV of what occurred, because a narrative was put out about what had happened or what Chris was doing immediately before an officer pulled that trigger that ended his life. And we had a testimony earlier on from a member of the family who said they actually went and visited Chris. I'm assuming at the moment it's still at the morgue, or it may be at a funeral director, and it looked like he was sleeping, and he was handsome. That's the word he used. We've seen Family First, we've seen drummers, we've seen so many people coming out on the streets of London in support of Chris and his family. In the background we can hear drumming, and very soon I'm going to be leading out with that drumming, because I have to bring this live stream to a close. But all I can say for all of you who are watching, thank you very much for watching StreetMic. This is what we do best. We go onto the streets of London, we meet interesting people, and we have an engaging conversation with them about any topic. And it doesn't matter, you're black, white, pink, blue, green, lesbian, gay. I come out there because I try to be an impartial journalist. This morning I'm there down at Lambeth Bridge, interacting with the people queuing to see Her Majesty the Queen, and within an hour of doing that, I'm just down the road at Westminster, down by Scotland Yard, and here's the best photographer in London. Big up, big up. So that's Craig, the best photographer in London. Where you been, man? You been hiding? Big up. So here's some of you who are watching. I'm now going to mention your name as soon as this phone connects. You know, my live stream is good, but when it comes to this rubbish phone, I'm on the 3 network and 3 doesn't connect. But my live streaming system that connects to 3 mobile, I got some names now. I'm now going to say big up to you. So X-Ace 99X, afternoon, sir. Lucid Moment 71, good afternoon. The Reminator, Andy Belshaw, Sad Boy, what kind of name is that, Sad Boy? Andy Belshaw, Pop Roach, UK, Super Toyota. One, check my playlist. Paul Arsenal, Southwark Maps, Dan Dawson, Rat Roach, Shavik's Jagnards, all of you guys, and one, all of you guys. I'm gonna look through the chat. I ain't got time today. I've got more important things to do. I have not engaged with you guys in the chat. I'm just gonna print a message in the chat now. Big up. So I've just pressed the message in the chat, says big up StreetMic. And don't forget, I will not be at Speaker's Corner tomorrow. See all of these photographers, I'm going to be challenging all of them tomorrow because I'm a photographer and I've been neglecting my photography, doing this kind of stuff. And tomorrow, these big boys, they're going to be up against StreetMic because I will not tomorrow be at Speaker's Corner like I normally am. I'm going to be giving it a break. So you're going to realise how much you miss me when I don't turn up at Speaker's Corner tomorrow. Big up. No, man, I'm not going there this week. There's too many other things I got to do. And one announcement I will make is that some of you are not going to like it, doesn't matter. On Monday, I will not be doing the Queen's funeral. Cannot do that because I have something else to do on that day. Pre-arranged. So StreetMic will not be doing the state funeral of the Queen. I've already covered Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle. Earlier on, I was doing the queue. I was there for 2 hours, and I also did on Wednesday when the cortege passed Downing Street. So I've already done my bit. I've had the opportunity to record history, and I'm so happy. Big up. But I'm going to close in a minute, giving you some news that very soon, for those of you who like StreetMic, you can become a member of StreetMic LiveStream. When I say become a member, you get exclusives, but it's going to cost you. Be warned, because it's part of the facilities being offered by YouTube. You can either be a normal subscriber and engage like this, or you can be a member of StreetMic. And when you become a member, you get exclusives and extras. So if you become a member of StreetMic, that's the third level. It's 3 levels. If you are a member of StreetMic, you get the opportunity to come on the streets of London with me and engage with people. You can be my sidekick. You can be my other interviewee. How would you like that? But you have to be part of StreetMic. And also, those of you who have been asking to give me a call, not on this phone, the other phone. If you are on WhatsApp, you know who you are. I've sent you information. So when I went out this morning live streaming, they got the link about 3 o'clock this morning. So they were able to tune in privately before I went out on YouTube. And that is one of the things that you will get exclusivity when you become part of the StreetMic team if you're a member. But you have to pay to be a member. This ain't cheap, you know. It costs me thousands. And if you want something extra, you can become a member of StreetMic, but you will be hearing more about that in the future. But, you know, one thing that's big up, come round, sir, come round, sir, come round, sir. Listen, my man, for family, do you know something? I'm going to pull off my microphone because I want to talk to you good. Do you know something, brother? I heard you speak with passion today. was great to hear it.
Enough, brother. It's all from my chest. You know what I'm saying? Mark Duggan, Smiley culture. And you know what? With all of the negatives, I can actually see a level of hope. Do you know what I'm saying? The way people are stepping out, but I just have to let people know, don't step out once and post it on your Instagram and feel like you can forget about it. Just like the number Black Lives Matter, we need to be here for this family consistently. You know what I'm saying? We're here doing close body protection for our family the whole day. You know what I'm saying? And that's the sort of actions that we need from the community.
But one thing which I'm really amazed at is the speed in which everyone has been able to put a system in place to support the family, to help the family, to bring a protest onto the street, to get politicians. You've been doing such a great job so quickly. Is that due to social media and the power of the media?
I think one level is social media, but another level is Chris Kaba's family is very strong.
Yeah.
A very big, strong family from his direct blood-related family.
You can see that, can't you?
Yeah, to his family.
And they're tuned in.
Yeah, they're all stepping out, and them alone is a force. So we as a community, surrounding ourselves around them, it creates a power that I don't think we've seen since Mark Duggan.
Yeah. And you know something? I can see, you and I engage quite a lot. I'm always on the streets. With this, I can see the difference. I can see the professionalism. I can see changes coming. We've got new king, new leader in here, new commissioner, new prime minister. This family, they're going to hold these people to account. And people are coming together to hold them to account.
Facts, that's what's happening, man. We're gonna, you know what it is? It's not about, like I said, the talking, unless we're talking to actions, then there's no point. The family came out with demands, and they're executing those demands. Like I said, we got a new king, a new commissioner, and a new prime minister. So this is the time
for change.
Excellent.
That's normal, sir. You're doing an excellent job. Keep up.
Thank you.
You got my phone number.
You're on the front line every time.
Every time. StreetMic is always here.
I just want to say, for the whole community, we appreciate you highly, because we know it's not easy to consistently show up.
Do you know, can I be honest, yeah? I love what I do. Yeah. You know, earlier on, I tried to be impartial, as you know. I got my views. I try not to put them out here. Earlier on, I was just down the road there with the Queen's people in the queue for 2 hours, because people want to see that, regardless if I agree with it or not. And I thought, I'm going to come here straight after. I left there at 11 o'clock, come here for 12, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man.
Big up, as normal. I'm going to try and get a little interview, but he's brilliant.
Yeah, Jefferson, powerful, man. We've had him with close body protection all day. We got our eyes on him. I know he's looking to leave, but...
Yeah. Let me try and capture a little thing with him. I'm going to try and capture a quick interview. Can I just capture a quick? Sir, my name is Wendell Daniel from StreetMic. I had the opportunity to put a microphone on you last week, and I see my live stream is on the front page of your guys' website. Yeah. So, can I first begin by congratulating yourself? I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm really amazed at seeing how you have conducted yourself with the media over the last week.
Honestly, thank you so much. That means a lot. It hasn't been easy, but you know, Chris was there to me. That's my brother, that's my cousin, that's my friend. So for him to go out like that, it's like I have no choice but to do whatever I can to do the best. You know, he deserves that. He deserves that. As long as I have a voice, I'll speak up for him, and I'll make sure that I do it in the best way possible.
And what I do like is the way you're speaking in a positive way, and you're bringing people work together to help you and your family, and that is so great to see that.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think, you know, a house that is divided will always be conquered. We need unity. We need people to come together. There's no, as much as we're really, really angry, we need to be strategic as well.
Yeah.
Be strategic.
And I like that thought, but tell me something. What does amaze me is the speed in which you have been able to strategize, get people on the streets. I don't want no trade secrets, but how difficult was that?
That wasn't difficult at all, because at the end of the day, it was something that we were passionate about. You know, we were passionate about it. We need justice. And I feel like a lot of people, they, you know, that energy is transmitted to others. You know, because this isn't the first time we've seen someone shot dead by the police. You know, or someone that's died at the hands of the police. So it was, people were already feeling it. They were already angry. They were already devastated. They were already upset. So it was quite easy to mobilize a lot of people because they understood what happened, they understood what took place, and this was a step too far. That how did you do that? We're not going to let you get away with that. You know, we fought for justice, and we never get it. You know, so we're like, this time we're definitely going to get it.
Can I ask you a personal question about Chris? And you said you went to visit him sometime this week, but the question is, many people who follow me will know I work within the funeral industry. Yeah, I live stream. I work with funeral directors, so I know what it's like when someone has passed. And I've been with families at funerals when, you know, I'm showing graphically on my camera someone in a coffin. I also know what it's like when you go and visit someone at a chapel of rest, at a morgue or wherever. What was that like for you? And I'm going to put my arms around you because I know the pain and I'm sure in your eyes. What was that like for you when you saw Chris for the first time after the incident?
It was tragic, man. It was hard. It was so hard, not just for me, for the family, especially for the parents. And I was just praying that he gets up. You know, I said it earlier. I was just praying that he gets up. Like something in my mind just gave me hope that he's going to get up. And this would have all been a dream or some nightmare, but he didn't get up. You know, and it was hard. But he was handsome.
I like the way you used that word. He was handsome. And I understand what you mean, because when you see someone laying there, you know, you think the worst. But it's like they're sleeping, it's normal.
For him, it was almost like, once again, he was sleeping.
Yeah.
You know, and as I said, he's sleeping, but we're not sleeping, we're alive, so we're going to fight.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to speak up for him, because he has no voice. You know, that voice has been taken away from him. It's in the most tragic and devastating of manners. You know, so we're going to be that voice, we're going to talk, we're going to demand justice, and we're going to make sure that his death isn't in vain.
Yeah. All I can say, sir, is thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I'm being honest, I've been doing this for a while. I've met loads of people. But I take my hat off to yourself, your family, and everyone who's behind the scenes advising you. Because you're noble in the way you're conducting yourself. And that is so important when you want these people in this building behind us to take notice. And you're doing a great job under the circumstances. If there's anything I can do, everyone knows who I am and they can contact me. And I was pleased to see that my live stream last week is on the front page of your website.
I put it in my bio as well, so on my Instagram, Jefferson Marcelo. And if you go on my link tree, you're going to see your video, the full video. I think that was a very good video.
Excellent. Really well, and this is live streaming now. Anything you want, contact me. You can have it, and I'll get it to you straight away, because it's important that we get the information out. And everyone here, I do this every day, so I like to engage in. When I use a camera, I can really capture. And I use top quality equipment that connects the mobile telephone, 3 mobile telephones. So I get crystal clear everything. So if you want it, give me a call. You got my number. Yeah. Ring me. Anything, any footage you want, it's yours, yeah? Excellent. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah. Thanks a lot. But you're doing an excellent job, brother, yeah? Thanks a lot, man. Excellent. Thanks a lot. Oh. So what we're now going to do, that was Jefferson, who's a family member of Chris Kaba. And what he said earlier on was that he went to see Chris yesterday. I didn't ask where. I had no need to. But, you know, I work within the funeral industry, so I know. But when someone has passed, what efforts are made to ensure that they look great? And when you may be laying there in a coffin or whatever, wherever it was, you look great. And it is like he said, you are sleeping, and I am proud that, you know, they've got all of my footage on promoting all of this stuff, and I've said to him, if they want any footage, it's theirs. Big up. And from what I'm seeing, this movement that is happening around the country, we've got new King Charles III. We've got a new commissioner, Mark Rowley. We've also got a new Prime Minister, Liz Truss. People are going to start listening to the black community. People are going to start listening to what we are saying, because they need to listen. For too many years, they haven't listened. They've closed their ears, but now we all know each other. And as you can see, open your eyes, change is coming. Don't forget, if you like what you're seeing, give me a thumbs up. Make your comments down below, share and follow. Because what we do best, we go onto the streets of London, we meet interesting people, and we have an engaging conversation with them about any topic. Big up. So we are going to be coming to an end of this live stream, and all I can say is thank you very much for watching. We are locking down now, and I will be back sometime next week. I won't be live streaming tomorrow at Speaker's Corner, nor will I be live streaming on Monday at the Queen's funeral. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.